you know I want it deep inside. Free your mind, and I'll take you for a ride and make you wanna call my name. I am the reason that you feel like you're alive. Call for me, I'll keep you breathing. You'll be my heartbeat parasite. It's alright, let your notice side come out and touch me. Scream all night, that's what I like. You'll be my heartbeat parasite. Oh, my heartbeat parasite. My heartbeat parasite.
Why, hello everybody, and wow, oh my gosh, my phone's going off, but court is now in session. I am your judge, Judge Vader, and I am joined today, standing in for Counselor Q, Counselor Shep, looking like a Susie over there.
Hello, hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Well, it's daytime for me, but Shep, you are in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it is nighttime for you, huh?
It is 2 a.m. for me, so technically it is morning here. However, it is dark outside.
Yeah, so kind of nightly, nice. Well, we're here for Deadheads and Six today. I hope everybody else is excited because I think this is going to be a fun matchup. Deadheads has some really good killers here and not bad survivor play. And then we all know about Six and how they've been pretty crazy on the survivor side. And we will have Six killing first. I haven't gotten an invite from the killer yet, but it looks like I already have Deadheads trying to join my lobby. But yeah, we are very excited to find out what these survivors are going to do. And real quick, before we get anything else started, let's go ahead and review the map we'll be on. I'm sure everybody wants to know, right?
I certainly am excited to see what map we are going to be on today.
Well,
See where our survivors are going to be running our killers at.
let's go ahead and check it out then. So guys, the map we'll be going to today is none other than the Thompson house. And with a 7-hook minimum and a 12-hook maximum, it's pretty good. It's also got a really smallish area compared to some of the other maps. So definitely pretty good for our killer here, as long as they don't lose survivors in the corn. So hopefully our killers can go ahead and use those visual cues wisely and go ahead and see through the moving corn where those survivors have gone.
It will be very interesting to see how our killers handle that corn today. Hopefully they've got their best CNIs on so they can track those scratch marks no matter what happens.
And you know, it's funny, you said scratch marks in the corn. For me, I find it actually easier to find not the scratch marks, but I look at the top of the corn. Because if the top of the corn's moving, I know there is an object moving it, which would be a survivor. So it's kind of a difference of where you're looking. Everybody does it differently.
That is a very smart observation. I think I play shorter killers, so I don't think I can see over the corn usually. So that's something I didn't even consider.
You know, I really love I love like the huntresses and the big, tall, overbearing killers. So that does make sense that maybe I would see with my doctor, for instance. Like, yeah, of course I'm seeing over the corn. He's tall as I'll get out, right?
Very tall man, yes.
All right, and so while we're still waiting for our killer to invite us to a lobby. But Shep, do you want to go ahead and tell me what killer you'd expect to see on Thompson House, knowing it's preseason and really like whatever killer that these teams use isn't consumed for the season? So do you think they bring out some like S tier, like Spirit, anything like that, or do you think they go more non-meta-y?
You know, I think with it being preseason, there's a lot of potential to see killers that might not get a lot of gameplay during the regular season. I'm not thinking a lot of teams are going to want to really show their hands here, so we might be seeing some more off-meta killers, hopefully. Or we're going to get a lot of really good nurses out here.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some demo, actually. I don't know that we'll see demo on this map, but yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
I think it would be super cool to see someone like Demo or any of really the other killers who aren't really quite S tier.
Maybe a Michael Myers, just in the Halloween spirit. Maybe we see a Mike.
In the spirit of Halloween, a Michael Myers would be incredibly appropriate.
And I'm checking to see, it looks like I do see one of the 6 players that is not in a lobby right now. I might try joining them since none of them are really inviting me to their game here. So let me go ahead and join Lusty here. See if Lusty will be our killer. I could be wrong. Lusty may not be our killer. Lusty's in here with Clay. So it looks like Clay may be our killer here.
And our other team is going to be, is this 6 or is this Deadheads?
Deadheads will be surviving. So Clay and Lusty are both from 6. So
okay.
We should see Deadheads here soon. Let's see. It's not the right lobby. And I am getting communication it's not the right lobby, so it looks like Joy King's actually going to be our killer, so I'm gonna go ahead and accept Joy's request here. Joy has sent me the invite. Guys, we're really close to getting started off here. Definitely put those predictions in as we are almost ready to get underway.
What are your predictions for this match, Vader? Who are you hoping we're going to see other than Demogorgon?
So I would say that what we've seen from 6 thus far, 6 likes bringing those off-meta killers. So I totally expect that they are going to do the same as they have thus far and bring those off-meta killers. Now, for Deadheads, I think may bring more of a S tier or a high A tier killer. I think those would be my predictions. Now, of course, these teams hearing me right now may try to make a fool out of me and go ahead and go, no, Vader, I hear you saying that, and for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite. So we'll see.
They're rubbing their little hands together.
Yeah, exactly. It is definitely possible. So I'll go ahead and get into my killer position just to block this lobby from starting. All right. But let's get ready. And chat, let me know who you think is gonna be right here in this trial. Who do you think Joy is playing? Give me some guesses. I want to see what chat thinks. Oh man. All right, so it looks
I'm hoping we see a doctor. Seeing your doctor here.
Oh, the look-see is pretty, I mean, he's creepy looking, honestly.
It is an intimidating skin.
Yeah. That's why I use it. Got to hit people with a massive wrench, an oversized wrench. I don't think I've ever seen a real wrench that big, but yeah. And guys, if you are looking, I do have my staff, my walking stick with the little shrunken head on top. I do still have him here. He's, of course, my little buddy over here. Every once in a while, I might ask him for advice. You know, as a witch doctor, I talk to the other side. You know, and speaking of talking to the shrunken head, he's kind of yelling at me right now, telling me that he thinks that this is going to go in Deadhead's fashion. He thinks that Deadheads is going to win this trial. Shep, do you agree with them, or do you disagree?
You know, I'm actually kind of feeling six tonight. That's where I'm placing my money at.
All right, all right. I think both are definitely worthwhile picks here. We are waiting for the last survivor on Deadhead's side. Oh, and it's a Poppy Myers OP. You know, I've been swiffing with Poppy Myers quite a bit lately, so I know I've seen the skills on Survivor. I know Poppy Myers tends to be more of a killer main, but don't short them on those Survivor skills. So I think this is already shaping up to be a exciting trial.
And you know, even if they are a killer main, skills that they have as a killer will help them very greatly as Survivor. So it could give them the edge that they need to really help carry their team.
I would have to agree. Yeah, definitely. If you know what killers are looking for because you are a experienced killer main, then you tend to know how to hide your scratch marks or play with them in order to trick and mind game the killer. So, I really I love that opportunity there for Poppy Myers to go ahead and play around with Joy. And definitely
think that is someone to watch.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eye, making sure, seeing and checking if they are giving our killer some grief. All right, and so we are all set to go. These survivors are good to go whenever they are ready. I'm gonna let them know. Yeah, so they are good to go. And I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing people are wanting Demo, people are wanting Blight, Nurse, Bubba, Basement Bubba. Travesty over here wanting Basement Bubba or a Ghostface.
Personally, I'm hoping for a Ghostface too. Whoever said Ghostface, I'm with you on this one.
It was also Travesty. Travesty said Ghostface and Basement Bubba. And then it looks like a couple people are saying, you know, I also would like a Ghostface. Somebody should give me a spooky, you know?
Although Basement Bubba would be incredibly appropriate on Thompson House. It's like coming home.
Oh my gosh. You got the song stuck in my head now. I'm coming home. Coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
Oh, I was thinking a different song actually.
Really? I was thinking like Bubba's sitting there with this chainsaw. You get the slow pan over his face, just like, yep, that's right. Oh my gosh! And I think it actually has a Thompson looking house in the music video, if I'm not mistaken, too. So, just gonna go ahead and put that out there. Maybe we're going home. All right, guys, but it does look like all of our survivors have readied up here. So that means we are ready to get into the first trial. Who's excited? I want to see some hype in the chat. Let's go. And Shep, I think you and I should review some killer rules. Do you agree?
I certainly agree with you. Let's go ahead and look over what our killers are dealing with today.
Ooh, yes. But before that, let's check these offerings real quick. Because as you know, bloodied blueprints coming out on every survivor and a cut coin coming out on the killer means that we will have Shack be the basement house. And that also means that our survivors only have one chest and it should be in the basement. So everything's known there. All right, guys, but for the killer rules, the killer is scoring through those hooks. And so for the first and second hook, they're getting 2 points, and for the third hook they're getting 3 points, but progressions are worth 1 less there. So if they do get a 7th and 8th progression, though, they get an extra point there. If they get a 4K, it's 2 extra points on top of all of it, giving them 30 points available. An entity kill does give you the hook and all the progressions you would have gotten, and a Mori kill does the same. So the bleed out, though, is the only way to starve the killer of those points if you've gone down and become a slug. So go ahead and crawl to that corner. All right, and we're just waiting to load up here. Still on the loading screen, but we're almost there, chat. I'm seeing the hype in there. I love seeing your hype. We're almost ready. Oh gosh. The intensity, the suspense. It's killing me. It's like every horror movie ever, right? Just a little bit of suspense. You just need a little bit.
Just a bit to get you through that day.
Indeed. And guys, we are going ahead and loading in here. And it looks like we do indeed see a nurse.
And she's going in with her first blink. She has an interesting spread here for her corrupt intervention.
Yeah, we do see corrupt pretty immediately here, and we're going ahead and pressuring the corrupt zone.
She's looking for those survivors. She hasn't quite found anyone yet, but I have a feeling she's going to run into them pretty soon here. She is blinking into the Thompson house, getting a vantage point. I think she might have seen someone off in the distance. I'm not entirely sure, but there goes a crow. We might be onto our first survivor here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw that survivor. I was wondering if our nurse saw the same. This survivor, getting the blink block.
Oh, and there is a blind at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. These survivors already using that firecracker, but getting use out of it. I would have to say 6 has been really good in every game we've seen him of getting use out of that firecracker that sometimes ends up being wasted by survivors.
And Nurse gets her first hit in on Claudette here. She is taking her into this jungle gym. Let's see if she can figure out where she's going. But it seems she has, not quite shaken her.
And I do want to correct myself. I said 6. This is Deadheads on Survivor, guys. Deadheads got a really good use out of that firecracker there. Love to see it.
Unfortunately, Nurse does get that first hook before a generator can be completed. She is going towards a highlighted generator here.
Yeah, I do believe that is Tinkerer that's going off. So Nurse also has no terror radius right now. We do see another one pop in the distance though. So we're seeing the survivors actually pose quite a bit of pressure while Corrupt is still up for this Nurse. No gens popping though.
Yeah, they have put on quite a bit of pressure, but it's really important. They've got a survivor on hook, another actually downed now. So that's going to pull somebody away from a generator pretty soon here to respond. And she's actually leaving that survivor slug.
Indeed. This is a hook one, slug one situation, and the survivors do decide to pressure out a gen, but really you got to think, now somebody getting unhooked, you know there are at least 3 survivors not on gen, but the person that was on gen completed a gen, so all 4 survivors likely running around at that moment. Nurse will take that all day.
And I'm sure this gives her a vague idea of where to look. There goes her... Oh, that's actually a gen completing. My apologies there. So those are 2 gens down for 2 hooks. Not a bad trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm worried about the gen spread a little bit here, though, because the survivors actually completed 2 gens next to each other in the same corner, kind of creating themselves a little safe zone to take chases, I will admit. But it leaves the other side of the map for Nurse to go ahead and go, well, why go over there when I can just patrol over here?
Yeah, if they're not too careful, they are going to end up putting themselves in a pretty nasty situation with a rather high mobility character. She has found another survivor here.
Yeah, indeed. And it looks like the survivor's trying to go ahead and just keep chase over here in this section. But this is kind of in the middle of where some of the gens are. You would want to see this survivor maybe try to take chase away from these gens. You can hear that gen is knocking, like it is about to go. And unfortunately going down by the Thompson house. Hopefully these survivors can go ahead and finish those other gens. We do see a reset by Poppy Myers. But really, this Nurse could see mid-game go in their favor if these survivors aren't careful.
Absolutely. And with Tinkerer proccing again, Nurse will be able to take this gen down a little bit and hopefully stop some of that progress there. My apologies.
Yeah, and we did see that explosion was kind of big. I think we just saw Pop Goes the Weasel. So definitely taking 25% of that gen progress right away right there. So if you're Nurse, you'll take that all day. Getting another quick down here, about to reload that Pop. you are feeling good if you're Nurse right now. If you're the survivors, you're starting to feel the pressure start to go onto your back here, and it'll be interesting to see how the survivors respond.
And this is quite a bit of pressure. A hook very close to her first hook. Doesn't quite get the Claudette there.
Oh.
And I believe that is a deliverance from Kate. She does have the broken status applied.
Yeah, and I would have to agree that did appear to be a deliverance, and if that's a deliverance, then we really didn't have any hook pressure that we thought we did for the Nurse there. So that's definitely very good for the survivors. Still, though, seeing the Tinkerer pop off and knowing that Nurse has pop, if that gen doesn't pop right here, I don't think it gets... Oh, Repressed Alliance!
Oh,
I am
Repressed
corrected.
Alliance.
Oh my goodness, what a play. And that's Poppy Myers OP. We just talked about having to watch him, and he comes in and goes, you have pop? That's okay, I've got a counter. And Nurse, unfortunately, getting into the basement here. Hate to see it.
An unfortunate blink there indeed, but that was an incredible Repressed Alliance play. Definitely preserving that pressure on that generator. But I don't know if our survivors have really any pressure anywhere else.
Yeah, it just seems like they've been pressuring this gen pretty hard. I'd have to agree with you, but it'll be interesting to see. Oh no, I think that's Claudette's last hook. I think Claudette is dead.
You're right. We could be seeing our first death here. Claudette's got nothing tricky for our Nurse. She will be our first survivor out of the game.
Oh, and we see Nurse nods here. Oh man, first death, and we are gonna go ahead and this really puts a lot of pressure on the survivors now, because it looks like that Shack gen did get completed because of that Repressed Alliance, but now all the gens are on this same side, which does not bode well for our survivors.
Yeah, unfortunately, the survivors here have kind of given the Nurse a very easy end game. They did take that Shack gen, but they have left themselves with gens that are rather close. Very easy for her to blink to.
Yeah, definitely very easy for her to blink to, as well as knowing that this Nurse has Tinkerer. If you start putting a lot of progress on the gen, she knows. She's a knower. So definitely gotta pressure those out, and we do see that happen here.
We do see a gen pop in front of her face. Very bold on our survivors' part, but that might be what they need.
Yeah, that does effectively break up that 3 gen there. Nurse does find another survivor here right after downing one, though. That could bode poorly for the survivors now, everybody being injured versus a Nurse. Definitely going to be important to see how these survivors play that out.
Ooh, and some smooth moves from Ace here. He avoids the second hit. Kate has reset herself, so there is some hope, but we do have 2 survivors down and 1 dead already.
Indeed, and it looks like we are going to hook here and then probably go get that survivor that is probably further away from the other survivor. Maybe? No, Joy wants to keep the pressure on. Go for 3 slugs. Try to make sure nobody's on that gen up above. And it sounds like it is actually raring to go. Oh, didn't hold that blink down long enough to be able to go through the floor.
Unfortunate, but she's able to recover quickly. And it doesn't seem like there is anyone up here, at least immediately.
Yeah,
but I do think you're right. I do think she's out for blood and is going to be looking for that Kate.
Yeah, I think we have an immersed survivor here. I do actually think that they are probably in the house. I could be wrong, but with as much progress was on that gen, I think they've got to be nearby. But if they're smart, I think Mr. Beautiful over there going over to save Harley Quinn. I think maybe because of where the Nurse is, I think you might let Poppy Myers just die, because otherwise it's just going to happen anyway. Nope, I was wrong. Look at me being wrong. Deadhead's going ahead and picking up the other survivor and getting the unhook. Look at the play.
A very good pickup and unhook for our survivors. Hopefully this buys them the time that they need to maybe get a reset in there and get that last gen knocked out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and you know, the nurse going ahead and getting Poppy Myers down here again. Unfortunate for Poppy Myers, because I do believe that is death hook for him. So 2 survivors out, but honestly, getting the unhook there was able to give you a little bit more time to pick up Harley Quinn, put pressure on this gen that has a lot of progress on it. But our nurse does have pop still. Does the nurse elect to pop the gen or just keep on chasing? If she chases like it looks like she is, oh, she gets another quick down. So I'm going to swallow my words before I even say them.
That was a beautiful hit from our nurse as well. And she does indeed go for the pop here on this generator now that she has the pressure of another down survivor. It looks like, again, she's going to leave that Naya down and go hunting for Kate once more.
Oh man, and this is definitely where our nurse has seen this has a lot of progress yet again. Somebody's got to be hiding out over here, or has to just run away as soon as that down probably happened. But going ahead checking lockers, kind of interesting here. Definitely, Mr. Beautiful has Joy wondering, where could you be? Still looking around. Look.
If I were in this position, I would also be as immersed as possible. Your teammate has time. You know that this nurse is not going to want them to bleed out.
Yeah.
So eventually something has to give. If Kate can just wait it out, maybe they can make a play here.
I would agree. I think Kate may have run all the way to that gen that had a lot of progress. If you remember, our nurse never kicked it. I think that could have been a mistake that, if communicated by Naya, then we will go ahead and see a gen pop here maybe soon.
And that would definitely be in our survivor's best interest as the nurse goes ahead and picks up the Naya. However, doesn't look like she's going to hook her. Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Maybe that was a DS check?
Potentially. I think the Naya had been down for long enough that DS would potentially be off the table, but smart on our nurse to play it rather safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Very patient.
Our nurse is looking towards these edges of the map here where the finished gens are. I'm wondering what they're looking for a little bit, because I would be looking towards those gens possibly, but no, going ahead and knowing that this survivor was going to let themselves die on hook, and our last survivor is looking for hatch, actually makes this look like a smart play from our nurse, going ahead and trying to just take the high ground and find where is this survivor. Oh no.
Ooh, and a quick hatch find from our nurse. That was a very smart and patient play on her. Very patient on our killer's part. Just really taking that time to scope out what is going on and making pretty good decisions because of it.
Yeah, indeed. That was a pretty lucky hatch spawn to just be right in the building, but our nurse able to go ahead and use those headphones wisely and find where that hatch is.
And these are some rather unfortunate door spawns for our survivor here. As you can see, nurse can just very easily sit in between these doors and keep an eye on them. So unless Kate can play this very smart, it might be game over here if she catches her at one of these doors.
And she does catch her at one of these doors indeed. And I do want to also note, if the ground spider, if the entity's end game goes ahead and takes out this survivor, that still awards all the points to the killer. The only way the killer doesn't get the points is a actual bleed out.
And some lovely blinks from our nurse here to get that down on Kate. Looks like this is the end for our survivors.
Yes, and very good game from our nurse. I mean, that's a pretty good performance to go ahead and set the tone. And I really didn't think that 6 was going to come out with the S tier killer right off the bat, but I've been proven wrong. They go ahead and show a pretty dominant nurse game here, going ahead and getting the 12 progression 4K there. That is amazing to see.
Yeah, some very, very clean gameplay on both ends. That repressed alliance play. The firecracker at the beginning, unfortunately, just didn't pan out for our survivors. The nurse had some very, very clean blinks and just played very patiently, gathered her information well, and got them all down.
Indeed. And I do have to correct, it was a 10 hook 2 progression game that the survivor or that the killer had there. So definitely a very good showing from Joy.
Yes, that was a very fun game to watch, and I am excited to see how our next match goes and what everyone brings to the table.
Indeed, we will see Deadheads kill on the next 2. So this is definitely going to be where we see Poppy Myers. Oh, P, go ahead and invite me to the lobby. So we are going to get to see, remember I said that he's a killer main, but he's playing Survivor, and I've swipped at them and he's pretty good. Well, now we get to see the killer side, everybody. It's going to be a treat. We do see the map getting set to Thompson House now. So now we just need to have our survivors go ahead and fill in here. So I'll go ahead and send an invite to one of our survivors here. That way they can invite the rest of their team.
And once again, let's get some predictions out there. Who do you think we are going to see for our next game?
Indeed, I want to know. I think that I think we could even see a nurse come back. You know, how funny would that be in a pre-game or preseason game where really, if you use your S tiers, they're not gone. You go ahead and go, okay, that's your nurse. Well, can you hang with our nurse? Just go ahead and return the killer choice right there, right? It would be kind of funny.
Yeah, pay back the favor.
Mm.
And you know, it would be very smart since during season, the killer that they pick, they can only use it a certain amount of time. So it would actually be smart for them to all play rather strong killers now so that they don't reveal their hand later for who else they might bring as they save their top tier killers for later in the season.
I would agree. And it looks like we're still waiting on one survivor to join in here. We have 3 survivors in the lobby instead of 4. So it looks like we'll be waiting a little bit longer, but our survivors are getting set up. Looks like they have multiple flashlights though. Definitely not allowed in this league. Only one of each item, kids. Only one of each item. You can't bring 4 beamers. No killer bullying here. At least not in that fashion.
That would be rather ridiculous to see 4 flashlights on the field in the hand of what I'm assuming are very capable survivors.
Indeed. Yeah, kiddos, if you haven't seen these survivors before, they were our runners up to the Arctic Wolves in the qualifier tourney, and they did very well all the way up until the finals. And even in the finals, their survivors did very well to put them in positions to win games. So for sure, really strong team overall. And in the finals, if you guys didn't remember, it did come into the 4th trial where Wispy had to pull it all the way back for the Arctic Wolves. And what's actually funny about that is it was actually like, it was more on the side of the survivors to win there as well. It seemed like the survivors were going to go ahead and pull it out and get a 2 out, which would have clenched it in their fashion. They would have won, but instead Wispy was able to go ahead, turn it all the way around and get the 4K and prove that Arctic Wolves was the better team that day.
Well, let's hope that this team has been practicing. It'll be exciting to see what they pull out and what they've learned from last season to bring into this season. And hopefully we will see some rather exciting gameplay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
What's that in the background? Does it say Tombstone Me Myers?
So usually this is my Morimi board, and when I stream, my chat and I will pick who is going to be who we will ask to Mori us. And the last time I streamed, someone was asking for a Myers tombstone. So this is what we were predicting was going to happen my last stream. That's why it says that back there.
See, because definitely chat was asking for Myers time a little bit, and so definitely I don't think we would see a Tombstone Myers because it's not allowed,
However,
but you know.
you know,
Tombstone Myers though, interesting. I wouldn't wish that
it could,
upon
maybe
myself.
it's a prediction.
But, ugh.
You know, with Myers, I do believe Myers has no restrictions on his add-ons. Is that correct?
Well, that is correct.
So who knows? Maybe our killer's feeling spicy and wants to bring that Tombstone out.
Oh man, don't say that too loudly. Papa Myers OP might be listening. Because remember,
I can say it louder.
Oh no, wait. I don't know if you want to do that. Oh man.
I do. I don't know if our survivors want that.
Yeah, our survivors may be in for a bruising with a Tombstone Myers. Although it might be fun to kind of see how they play versus a Tombstone Infinite Myers.
I think it would be rather interesting to see how they deal with that in any setting. Tombstone Infinite Tier 3 Myers is rather oppressive, so it would be interesting to see how they can handle that oppression and what they do to get around it.
Indeed. And so it looks like Travesty over here saying that he wants to see Devour Mikey. I think if you have Tombstone, you don't really care about Devour. No. But Devour...
Or if he's feeling that confident.
That's true. I'm an avid Devour gamer, so every chance I get, I like to use Devour. All right.
Devour
I am
is a very fun perk.
Yeah, it is. I love it. It's like you get to earn the Mori. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, I brought a Mori and I get to Mori you. It is, I have done my job. I've gotten 5 stacks. I've protected my totem. It's time for you to die.
It was just that very extra satisfying feeling when it comes to getting a Mori.
It is. Because even, I don't know how many of you out there in the fog and in pubs get that entitled survivor that seeks to message you on Steam after you have killed them. I've had that happen. Not use the endgame chat. Go ahead and message my Steam account. And it's just icing on the cake to just go, but I earned that. If you didn't like it, cleanse the totem. Easy.
One of those
money.
situations where you just sit there and say, well, cleanse bones.
Right, indeed. I know that Vigo's Court definitely has seen the GIF a couple times. I've seen it floating around Vigo's Court. You guys know the GIF. Sounds like skill issue. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you got to let them know.
Indeed, sometimes you just have to let those survivors know, I'm confident in this.
Yeah, definitely. So, looks like we're just waiting on the survivors to go ahead, ready up there. But what I'm noticing is they don't have items right now. So, I'm almost wondering, are they gonna go into this without items on purpose, or? That
Well,
would
you
be.
know, it
that would
is
kinda
preseason.
It would be a power move, wouldn't it? Just like, hey, you know what? In fact, we're not bringing items. What now?
That would be a show of extreme confidence on our survivors' part. But you know what? It is the time to get kind of spicy and experiment a little bit here. So maybe we'll see some interesting plays here if they decide not to bring items with them.
I would have to agree. It could be pretty spicy. So while we are waiting for them, guys, we do have like 3 more games also happening today. So keep it here for sure. Vigo's Court is going to have a very spicy event-filled day today. I'll be with you for all of it. And so up next after this game, we do have Entity versus 4 Dwights. After that, we do have We Overslept versus Monarchy. And then to round out the knives, wow. Guys, I'm in a murderous intent mood, apparently. But to round out the night, we have Arctic Wolves versus Oh, who are they versus? I think it's a
Hex Girls.
It's a
They're playing
new
against
team,
the
Hex Girls. Interesting. And so, Shep, you and I talked about Hex Girls before. Sounded like a reference to something, didn't it?
I do believe the Hex Girls are a reference to the popular girl band from the Scooby-Doo series.
Hey,
Shout out to our 90s kids.
Right? They're hexy and they know it. I expect every one of their killers to use Noed, because if they don't, I'm going to be upset.
I will be upset if I don't see at least one hex at any given
Oof.
point from the
Yeah.
Hex Girls.
Need to see all the hexes. Every hex. Just full hex build. If it's not a hex, don't bring it. I'm just kidding, of course.
Except for Haunted.
Yeah, no haunted, of course. But like everything else, do it. I want to see the
and it
third
looks like
seal.
we're getting ready to load into our game here.
Indeed. And so let's go ahead and check their offerings first. Make sure that these survivors and killers haven't forgotten anything, right? And so it does look like all of the offerings are there the way that they should be. You love to see it. You just love to see it.
Love to see everyone on top of their game.
Yep.
I'm very excited to see what our survivors pull out.
Indeed. And so for our survivors, they're scoring via those gens. So first and second gen being 1 point, the third and fourth gen being 2 points each, fifth gen being 3 points. And then those escapes are very valuable at 1, 2, 4, and 6 points respectively. So you want to see that third or fourth survivor get out to really push that lead if you are 6. And definitely if you get 4 people out, there is a bonus point available. So there are 26 points available total for these survivors to score. All right, and we are ready to go into the match. And I'm hearing a hillbilly.
I do believe that is a hillbilly. He goes charging across the map towards his corrupt generator, checking for survivors spawning over here. And he does find some scratch marks, leading him to his first survivor.
Yeah, and actually, funny enough, he saw a survivor earlier and elected not to chase. I wasn't expecting that, but
I do believe he had his pick of 3 different survivors. He's chased over to Cowtree and actually gotten that pallet out of the way. So that is one less resource for our survivors there. This looks like, I believe, a Megan utilizing this loop to evade the chainsaw.
indeed.
And I believe she just chose to run through.
Yeah, she W-gamed away from that loop, which was really smart because our killer was trying to mind game there. Survivors, take notes. Joy King is trying to take you to school real quick right here. Going ahead and showing you, hey, when a killer's trying to mind game you around a loop, go ahead and just abandon the loop.
And we see some very spicy outplays by Meg here, getting a swing and a miss from our killer there, and then dropping a pallet straight onto his face.
Indeed, but I
Very
think she's
clean.
gonna go down here if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, making crazy moves! How is
Another
Joy still
swing
up?
and a miss. Very smooth moves from Megan here, giving her, I don't know why I keep calling her Megan, giving her teammates plenty of time to work on those gens. Breaks that
Oh.
pallet there, and she just keeps holding W there.
Indeed. At this point, though, we should expect that the survivors have communicated low pro chains are in play, because as you saw there, Hillbilly does not care about that pallet and goes right through and still gets a hit. Now, interestingly enough, we are seeing this Billy, oh no, hitting the pallet
Ooh.
instead of the survivor, but we are seeing the Billy take a few
Unfortunate.
stuns actually from these pallets, which when you have low pro chains, you expect to see more of a respect the pallet and go ahead and take make sure that they get hit by it, right?
Absolutely. And we are seeing 2 gens have gone by, and we have no hooks for our killer just yet. Meg bought her team plenty of time to get those gens slammed out, but he is back on her trail again. Let's see what he does here with her.
Yes, indeed. And oh, looks like we just hit the boxes just a little bit. And Meg is going to go ahead and keep extending chase. This is a really good match for these survivors here. And really kind of putting pressure on to this Billy. That is 3 gens complete and no hooks.
Yeah, unfortunate that he just cannot land any of these hits. He's getting those pallets out of the way, but he is losing time by catching the stun. He has left Meg, however, and is looking for somebody else to play with, looking for a down in other avenues.
Indeed, and I think that's oh, we get it here.
Ooh,
Going ahead
and
and
he
electing
gets
to
the
take
hit
the
at the
window.
window.
Indeed, that's kind of a I thought it was kind of interesting. Thought Clay was going to keep playing that pallet, but instead running for the window gave Hillbilly a direct shot to go ahead, take him out, put him on a hook.
And our Hillbilly here has gotten his first hook for the game. However, that is another gen gone, leaving the survivors with just one more gen to complete. Naya here moving towards our hook. Our killer elected to respect that pallet this time. And misses the hit at the window.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Feel like they got behaviored a little bit there. Going ahead and getting the Naya down though. And are we counting? Are we counting here? I started
Unfortunately, he started to. However, he still took that BT hit and ate that pallet. But that is the last gen done for our survivors there.
Indeed, and we do see No Way Out get procced here. I gotta say, with only getting 1 hook, that means No Way Out only for 24 seconds, and it looks like that the Nia had Deliverance, so no hook pressure there either. So really, these survivors have all the pressure in the world on this killer.
I would like to note, however, that 3 of them are injured, and against Hillbilly, it doesn't even really matter. He can get you if he plays his chainsaw right. He can get you in 1 hit.
Indeed. And it looks like our survivors are going ahead and gonna go ahead and keep looping this. Joy King showing us, hey, I can make any loop work. And we do see a hex go down, and I regret to inform the fans of Deadheads that was Noed that just got popped by the survivors. Noed is no longer in play, so our Hillbilly has lost his haste effect that he was using to try to go get that survivor.
And Shack pallet is down, and he breaks that pallet there. Let's see if Meg can spot her teammates enough time to get some progress done on these doors. And there goes a door popping right there.
Indeed, and I think we may see, probably 1 survivor dead here. Gonna go ahead and try to pressure for the other one, but it could be a little dangerous. Oh.
Meg has proven that she knows how to avoid those hits.
Indeed, looking for the heal tech. Ooh, and getting the pickup here. Oh, no blind.
Oh, not quite on the blind there. She tried really hard to save her teammate. We do see the Nia get up.
I believe that's an unbreakable, and that's what I was worried about. Seeing that they had Deliverance, I know that a lot of survivors like to stack unbreakable and Deliverance, and so I was worried that other survivor may get up, so I think that we still are only going to see a 1K at this point. And really, these survivors are resetting. They might try to make a play here.
I mean, they've got the time to. Our killer is acknowledging that they're over there. And it looks like they have healed up the Michaela, but I don't know if the smart move here is to try to get this rescue.
Yeah, this definitely is, oh, they elected to take the out. So, yep, that is it for Joy here.
Out.
And if you're Joy, you probably still feel fine getting killed here. You did so much to run the killer and give your survivors the best chance of escaping. I want to say that throughout the time that Joy was being chased, 3 or 4 gens popped. So definitely excellent performance from 6. And very nice plays just overall.
Yes, we did see some very clean plays from our survivors. It looked like Hillbilly was struggling a little bit with that chainsaw or on some of those loops, but they definitely showed that they've got some real smooth moves on that survivor team.
Yeah, there were definitely some very smooth moves there, right? And oh, this is interesting. I see a your boy Q in chat. Gotta acknowledge your boy Q. Q thinking Billy should go ahead and force out towards the end, and going ahead and saying, "Hey, I think you should force out." But I think at that point you risk having all four get out. We've seen 6 do it in the past. It's pretty crazy when they try to do things like that. So.
I do think our survivors made the right call, though, especially against a killer who could very easily one-hit down someone. It's a lot of risk to take for a 4 out.
Indeed, with that chainsaw, very easy to punish those survivors. And guys, I do want to go ahead and say thank you for the follows from Haley Hayes, from Power Zone, from Object of Objection. Guys, if you are not already followed, please follow the channel. We are really close to getting to 1,300 followers. So hey, tell your friends, Vigo's Court's in session. We'll be here all day, so definitely, you know, tell your friends, bring them in, make sure that they can see competitive Dead by Daylight. Especially if you are a participant, tell all your friends, you know, get yourself a little more fans, get your name out there. Do it. We'd appreciate it.
Make
help
sure
us help you.
Are following so that you don't miss any of this incredibly juicy gameplay. Already pre-season's looking pretty spicy, so this is definitely the place to be, you guys. Please ensure that you are following us if you are not yet. We would love to see you here for every game. It will definitely be worth your time. I have a feeling.
I would agree. And it's just it's really cool to see these teams come out performing well, and I mean really having fun. I've heard from these teams, like we of course do those interviews with the players right after the games and stuff, and players are always just like, you know, this was a lot of fun. It's been really fun doing this, things like that. So hey, shout out to everybody that helps out and helps Vigos happen, right? That's a shout out to Rambo, shout out to Zayden Zeal, shout out to Lesbian Love, shout out to all the mods, shout out to all the casters, Techno Badger, everybody involved. Y'all are great. Y'all are perfect. I appreciate you. And definitely also shout out to Rugard for making these amazing overlays that you see. Like that whole courtroom, I don't know how many hours it took him, but man, like just shout out to everybody involved. Crazy. I bet it had to be over 100 hours, possibly 1,000 hours. You know what I mean? Like just giving them hours for the sake of Vigo's Court. Man, gotta appreciate it. And I see those follows rolling in. We appreciate you so much. We got AV Suma and D Rolock. I love it. I love it. That's what we want to see. We want to see them follows. All right. So guys, it looks like we are getting set up for the next match. It will be Poppy Myers OP again versus the survivors of 6. So what do you think we see here, Shep? Do you think that we see Poppy Myers bring an S tier now, like go away from Billy and bring an S tier?
You know, I am thinking that might be the move here. They had a game with Billy that seemed lacked a little more fun. So I think it would be really interesting here to see what Poppy Myers brings. I am thinking they're going to bring a killer that is a little higher tier here. Especially knowing the caliber of survivors that they are playing against, having played one game against them already.
But my question is, who do they bring?
That's what I have to think about, you know? I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of hoping to see maybe some spicy Wraith plays. I know he just got a nerf, but I think it's not too much of a nerf that he is unviable in this kind of setting.
I would agree. He's not unviable by any means, but it definitely that nerf was yeah. He's a different killer now. He's not as intimidating as he once was. So for sure, yes, I think a Wraith could be a good play, but I want to see like twins here. That's what I want to see. I want to see a twins. I want to see a spirit. We didn't see a spirit at all. Come on, bring new spirit. Show me where your spirit skills are now that it's like a directional phase. You can hear where she's coming from.
Speaking of nerfs, though, I think if we're going to talk about Wraith having some of the wind taken out of his sails with his nerfs, we do need to talk about Spirit's nerf as... Oh, did I say nerfs? Nerf. We do need to talk about Spirit's nerfs as well, because hers are actually, I think, a little major, especially if you aren't comfortable with how she works now on both sides.
I would agree. But, you know, kind of what I want to see in the preseason, I just want at least one team to try this. Guys, if you play later today and you are listening to me right now, I want you. Here, I'm going to do my best Uncle Sam, all right? I want you to go ahead and bring Spirit, but bring that brown add-on, you know, the one that allows you to go right back to the husk. I want to see somebody use that in comp. I want to see how good it is. I don't know if you've practiced it. You may have hours before your game and you may need to go practice it right now, but I want to see somebody use that. All right, I want to see somebody go ahead and show me some spicy mind games where you're sitting near the hook or something. You go ahead and you're phasing away, but you return to the husk and you just grab a survivor. I think that would be amazing to see, because of course, if you teleport back to the husk, your whole like phasing sound isn't on your husk. It went with you. So the survivors have no indication that you're coming back to your husk. Wow. I think that makes for some spicy mind games. I think it just changes the way Spirit's played, but it makes it so her nerf isn't really that bad.
I think that would be a very interesting add-on to see used on Spirit here. Now is the time to experiment with those things, so maybe we'll get lucky and we will see some of these different add-ons being used a little different from the norm. I've also seen somebody mention Trapper, actually. We haven't considered him yet, but he did just get a pretty major buff. And I think on a corn map, new Trapper could be deadly. I think he is a contender for someone to be played here.
I would have to agree. And I would say, I also think Piggy would be viable, but let me stop right there, because it seems she's got some bugs. If you bring any of her, like, add-ons that have been reworked, sometimes those traps end up spawning back on the survivors' heads, and then they don't actually ever explode, and it prevents you from putting another trap on their head. So overall, she ends up being kind of broken. It's kind of upset.
Yeah, I have seen some weird issues with Piggy in pubs games. So I can definitely see that causing some problems for our killers if they did choose to bring Pig into the game.
Indeed. Yeah, you would hate to see it. You'd hate to see any of those problems, right? So let's go ahead and keep going. Our survivors have all readied up, so let's go ahead and review a few more rules. Let's review our ban rules as soon as these offerings are done. I love seeing the offerings flip, don't you?
It is so satisfying, especially because it's a nice, neat row, all the same thing, except for that coin right at the end there.
Yeah, but it's still just perfect. All right, guys, so there are some bans within the league just for balancing purposes. So you can only bring one of each perk and item. Duplicate BT, though, that's allowed. You know, we got to have the duplicate BT. Banned perks, though, are definitely going to be that Haunted Ground, that Starstruck, and that Prove Thyself. Just a little too OP right now, you know? So I'm going to go ahead and ban those. Killer uses are limited to twice a season, so you will see those killers kind of held by the team, you know? Those uses are valuable. Any violations to any of the ban rules or build rules are subject to penalties. For more on it, you can type !rules in chat. But we are all set to go here, so let's go ahead and go and see. Freddy is actually entering the chase so quick.
That was a very quick find for our Freddy there. And it looks like this chase is going, ooh, not quite there. I thought maybe he could have gotten the hit. It seems our survivor was able to get the pallet down just in time. And a swing and a miss from our killer once again.
Yeah, this is crazy because the game had just started, and pretty much immediately as the game started, the survivor ran in front of the Freddy, and Freddy's just like, oh, okay, let's go ahead and start right now. That is excellent for the Freddy. You love to see it.
And I wonder if this was unfortunate spawn on our survivor's part. Freddy gets his first hit here, knocking that survivor into the dream world. And the survivor is taking the chase to the killer shack, it seems.
Yeah, and looks like we've already used our firecracker, so that item is gone. 6 in both of these games actually didn't get any use out of the firecracker. Poppy Myers OP was ready. Looks like possibly faking a teleport there to that gen, thinking somebody may be on it. And by the sounds of it, somebody was on it.
And we are seeing a little bit of an attempt at a mind game here. Use that pool to get the slow, but not quite good enough. The chase has been left to respond to this generator over here that is being worked on.
Indeed, and our Adam is going ahead and running it quite well here, keeping our Freddy up here, and ooh, getting a stun. Oh my goodness.
Juicy pallet stun there, absolutely. And I do believe I see a ruin on that generator there. And a teleport from our Freddy onto another gen that was being worked on.
Yeah, it did look like that was ruin, and it looks like these pallets are actually going a little bit faster too. I think we're seeing some brutal strength action. Oh, we got an injured survivor.
And our Freddy has found that Felix, I believe, once more. Ooh, an unfortunate vault there, right by the basement as well.
Is anybody here for the pallet stun though? No, unfortunately.
Ooh, that was
Joy.
really risky.
Oh, that ace is gonna have to go to the basement.
And it looks like we got our first hook right there. Traded one generator for one hook, but that is a basement hook, so this could be really bad for our survivors. We've got another teleport here.
That teleport actually was really good too, because it was the gen that you knew Adam was on. Adam going ahead and running away from it though. You got to worry about these survivors possibly rotating to that gen. Maybe not though, because it looks like they have pressure in several places around the map.
However, it seems like the two gens that they have the most pressure on are right next to each other. That could be pretty bad for our survivors if they're not careful with their gen spread.
Indeed.
We do see a reset on that ace from the basement.
Ooh, yeah, that is a really good thing to note there as well. If these survivors can keep resetting quickly, we've seen Six do that in the past and have a lot of success with it because it puts the pressure right back on the killer.
If they want to play this game aggressively, they are going to keep those health states. And it looks like we found Ace once more by the basement. Pretty risky, if you ask me.
Yeah, but I think it's an educated risk because you're trying to give the person that just finished that gen, which I believe should have been the Adam, you're trying to give him enough time to go ahead, pressure that gen out because you've got the center gen out already, and get some of these gens complete. You're trying to keep them the furthest point away from that gen.
And it looks like Naya has bought her teammates enough time to get a full reset. Freddy is going to teleport away to this generator.
Ooh, and right as teleporting, the ruin falls. So going ahead and kicking it with that brutal strength.
And it looks like he's checking Thompson House to see if Naya has run this way. He has found another survivor. It looks like he's found Ace once more.
Indeed, and Ace looking like trying to 360 a little bit. Freddy's going ahead and saying, no, you can dance for me. I love it when survivors dance for me and give him a little smack at the end.
However, Ace playing this aggressively did keep Freddy's attention on him and allowed his teammates to pop another generator. So we have 3 gens down, and that is Shack Pallet gone, making this a little bit more dangerous for our survivors.
Indeed. And I think a little important to note, we've got somebody coming in for a body block here, but our Freddy actually is doing a good job of trying to mind game these survivors, but Joy caught on to the fact that he was going to fake the teleport there into the Shack gen and went ahead and pre-dropped that pallet. If Freddy had committed to that, we may have seen it down earlier, but we still do get a basement hook here. So good pressure from Freddy as long as these survivors aren't going down there to finish it.
However, I would like to note we have 2 hook states and only 2 generators left, so the pressure really is on for our killer here. If these survivors can keep this pressure up, looks like we've got a deliverance play, so that pulls nobody away to get that rescue there, allowing the team to keep up this pressure that they've generated for themselves.
Indeed, and we do know that Joy is being chased here, which would be their second hook if they get downed here, but I think you're okay with that. There is the down, so it'll be a second hook for Joy here, but the other survivors, we do see that Lusty had woken himself up with the alarm clock, so he was not on gen, but Clay likely is on gen, and then Ronan is likely also on gen, so lots of pressure here, and we do see this gen is ready to go. We're having a lot of pressure from these survivors on this Freddy. Only 1 gen left needed.
Yep, Ace taking that chase really did put a lot of pressure off of his teammates, allowing them to finish that other generator. They now have 1 left. 2 injured and 1 on hook, though. Let's see if Freddy can pick up the pace here and maybe make some moves.
Definitely, indeed,
like
and we do see a stun here, but you still took the hit,
trade for that
unfortunately.
down. Unfortunate for Michaela here, but her teammates, it does look like they are resetting.
Yeah, likely we'll see Joy heal here in just a few seconds.
And there's that teleport to a gen he already knows has progress on it.
Yeah, and I do want to note that didn't sound like there's pop there, so without pop goes the weasel, that gen is not going to regress that far, so you may want to still be ready to teleport back and put pressure on that gen. But if you look at the gen spread at this point, Shep, I think you'll agree with me, all 3 of them were in the best position for our survivors to be able to get out.
Yep, our survivors definitely made sure they set up their gens in the most optimal way. We do have a door by our hook and another down.
Jeez,
But
and
they did rescue that Michaela.
Indeed, but I don't know if you noticed, that was a healthy survivor that went down there. So that does mean we are NOED Gaming.
NOED Gaming here, which could be disastrous for our survivors if Freddy can put the pressure on them.
Yeah,
There's
but
that down once more on Michaela.
I have to report, NOED Gaming just got canceled just as fast as I said it. We just saw the totem fall.
Unfortunate for Freddy there that he wasn't able to capitalize on that. Good on our survivors for finding that quickly and getting that out of the way so that they don't have to take any unnecessary downs here.
Oh, and
There's DS from Michaela getting herself off that shoulder with a pallet stun on top of it. That is absolutely tragic for our killer here. Let's see if he can recover from this, but our survivors are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
If they're putting any pressure on those doors.
And we see a door open. This is crazy. Joy King came in just like, oh no, one of my teammates is in danger. Let me go ahead and provide some support. Hopefully these survivors just go ahead and take the out. Possibly need 1 body block. No, never mind. Don't need any body blocks. You're A-okay. This should be a 4 out, no problem.
And that definitely looks like a 4 out. Naya, a little hesitant to walk past this Freddy. Maybe not.
Going ahead, giving some head nods, head bangs, head bangs. And so
a very good game from our survivors here.
Yeah, definitely. That is a really good performance. And that will actually lock this out to where we don't need to see the survivors from Deadheads for the final match. This is 6 being convicted of murder.
Very good gameplay from both sides. I will say Freddy did try his best there, but it just seems like Six was very well coordinated. And they were really doing well on coordinating taking the killer away from gens or having chases last long enough for their teammates to really put on that pressure.
Indeed. Yeah, definitely are. Like we've seen 6 before be very dominant on survivor side. So if they have a dominant killer performance to start the match, it really makes it sided for them. So I think anytime we see them in an away game, just because of the order in which that they will be playing these matches, it really I feel like it gives them more of an advantage than a home game, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to think. But killing first, if they can set the tone, they get to survive twice after that. And I've got to say, seeing their killer and survivor play, I think they are a stronger survivor team than they are a killer team. So definitely had a very, very good advantage there.
They definitely were able to set the pace that they wanted to with all of their games, really. A good showing from Deadheads as well. I would like to say they had some very good gameplay on their end as well. Just wasn't quite enough to keep up with the insane pressure Six was able to put down on both sides.
Indeed. Yeah. Pretty nuts, honestly. And so guys, definitely keep it here. We will be back in about, oh, never mind. No, we've got an interview on the way. My bad.
And who will we be talking to today, Vader?
I think that we'll be talking to Joy King, which this will be, I think, the 3rd time we will have talked to Joy King here. So it'll be a pleasure to invite him back to go ahead and enter the interrogation room. Actually, I'm calling an audible. It sounds like we might have Lusty for the first time coming into the interrogation room.
Very exciting. I'm excited to see what Lusty has to say about the games.
Indeed, I agree. And I do see the question in the chat. Travesty, when a match is already called, do you play out the final game? No, we do not normally. If the match is over, then we end it right there. And 6 is a very tough team. One of the favorites to win the league for sure. So everybody just already knows that they kind of have the target on their back. Be ready to bring your best when you face 6. And Lusty, looks like you're already in here, so welcome in, my friend. Let's make sure that you're not server muted here. And let's see, it doesn't appear that you are. It looks like you've got a personal mute on yourself. Go ahead and unmute and let's hear that beautiful voice. Maybe. Shortly. Potentially.
Keeping us on the edges of our seat here.
Oh, yeah. It happens every once in a while. You gotta go ahead. Lusty, are you there?
You know, I appreciate the anticipation and suspense.
Yeah. Lusty, I have removed the server mute now. You should be able to see that you are good to go. Are you there? All right, so it looks like Lusty's not muted, but maybe. Oh,
I have to push the talk. My fault.
Oh, okay,
Hello.
I see. So, how are you today, Lusty?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. So, walk us through your first survivor match versus the Billy. You guys seem to have a lot of crazy pressure. It seemed like Joy King was going ahead and extending chase as long as you guys needed to finish those gens. Walk us through kind of what the communication was and how you made it happen.
Well, we kind of knew it was going to be an M1, but I feel like we played pretty well in the beginning. We definitely need to focus our end game a lot more, but I think we did actually pretty well in the beginning. We kept calling. We didn't really want to take hits against Billy because he has a chainsaw, so we kind of made sure that we just keep comms up and everything like that, and we try to call out duels, stuff like that. But it was mostly yeah, that game one was like it went down south at the end. I kind of played that pretty bad at the end. I'm not gonna lie. I could have just taken the down and just crawled out, and then I had my other survivor come and heal tech one of us, but that was my fault. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely that heal tech would have been very good. That was kind of a long distance to have to heal tech too, though. So definitely, I understand why you may have been more inclined to not take the chainsaw down. For sure, though, I was actually thinking that you guys were going to attempt to get the unhook there at the end. Walk us through why you didn't.
We wanted to, but then we're all 3 up. Like we're all like we can literally just take the. We just felt like our killer can most likely do better, and have a better result. So that's why we just took that many escapes.
Nice. Yeah, because for sure, I would say for the team for 6 in the past, we've really seen you guys like take those risks, you know. Like we saw the one like heal on Nancy behind a hay bale to go ahead and get the 4 out. We've seen you guys take some pretty crazy risks in order to get 4 outs. So I thought we were going to see it again today.
Yeah, I mean that was the plan, obviously, but we definitely should work on like practicing before games, because we struggle with that. That's why we don't really perform well in games. But I feel like we would do a lot better if we practice a lot more before the game. That's what I'm trying to say. But
You know-
other than that, I felt like we did okay. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I'm interviewing you. That's on me for interrupting you. But I was gonna say, I was gonna stop you right there. And you said we need more practice. We perform badly in games. I was like, Lusty, if this is you performing badly in games, I don't want to know what it looks like when you perform well in games, because you're already performing well. You ended this in 3 trials instead of having to go to a 4th. So if this is you performing badly, you sound really dangerous when you perform well.
Yeah, this is you guys performing badly. I think I need to quit playing DBD.
Man, about to end my entire career. Oh man, guys, definitely a lot of confidence from coming from 6 here for sure. But you guys do really play very well. Shep, do you have any questions for Lusty? I'm putting
Yes.
Shep on the spot right here.
However, hi. So a little bit. I'm a little intimidated here. I'm not gonna lie. That was some really impressive gameplay from you guys. But tell me a little bit about how you guys were really able to capitalize on your guys' Meg taking a lot of the chase in that first game, and how you guys kind of played around each other in your second game as well. You guys seem to very easily transition around each other. And it seemed like you guys were really only letting the killer see you all in the same area if you wanted him to.
Yeah, we actually do really well on communication. We tend to try to call out mostly what everything the person who's getting chased is like going to, like running to, and things like that. And we also keep note on like where we drop pallets and stuff like that. And if we need to take downs, like we'll take downs, but it's definitely not necessary against a Billy. Definitely, we should have had a better result in game 2 due to the fact that it is an M1 and it is a Freddy. Usually, we should have better results just because Freddy's, in my opinion, not that much of a strong killer at all. I feel like when we're well practiced and we have like a really solid builds, I feel like we can easily either like have at least 3 stages on against Freddy. But yeah.
And you were saying having stronger builds. Were you guys trying out new builds since this is preseason? Are you guys trying to see what you can kind of get away with before season really gets started?
Personally, we kind of just use builds on the spot because we kind of were making builds as we go, just because unfortunately we came unprepared. But just as far as builds go, you know what I mean? So I felt like we could have actually gone more in depth on M1 builds, you know, because obviously playing against M1 killers is different than playing against a top 3 killer, you know.
So you
But
really
now is the time to experiment.
indeed. So you really do tailor your builds around who you expect to see, huh?
Yeah, that's generally the plan. That's what we usually do, yeah.
So, do you have anything to say to your opponent or your future opponents in the league?
Not really. I just hope that we all, you know, have some fun and you know, have some good competition. I really enjoy playing in the, you know, the Vigos Court League and everything like that. I have much love for every competitor out there, to be honest, and no hate here. I really appreciate Cook. Shout out to him. He was the killer for Deadheads. You know, good job, and you know, just keep at it, to be honest. And yeah, GG's.
Indeed. And then do you have anything to say to the fans of Vigo's Court, the fans of Six, the fans of Deadheads, fans of the league in general, fans of Dead by Daylight?
Not really. Just you know, wavy smile.
Wavy smile. All right,
Good
so we're
ending
getting
word.
like the princess wave from Lusty here. Oh, it looks
sorry,
like we
what'd
have
you
a
say?
question from the chat, Lusty. Are you game to answer this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so why are you called Tornado Lusty?
Okay, that's honestly, my close friends don't really like. They're not really a part of the Dead by Daylight community. So when they do join, they kind of see my clips and they're just memeing. So they just said Tornado Lusty, and
Oh
then
my
now my
gosh.
comp friends are kind of like bringing, you know, into the joke and stuff like that. So they just keep doing it, and I'm just like, okay, well.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
seems appropriate. You guys are quite a force of nature.
Yeah, indeed. We may need you to change that in-game name to Tornado Lusty.
Okay.
I think it would be kind of funny to see.
do it.
Tornado Lusty.
Tornado Lusty. Permanent name going forward. Maybe, chat. Stay tuned. All right.
Maybe if we peer pressure enough.
Right, for sure. And with that, I thank you for coming out, Lusty, for sure. Guys, we will be right back, probably here in about 15-20 minutes. We are going to go ahead and end stream here, set up for our next game. We got to change some graphics around, you know, make sure we're ready for the next game, Entity versus Ford Whites, all right? So keep it here. Stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Don't go anywhere.
We will see you guys shortly.
Court is adjourned.
Tell me your secret. You make me want it all the time. Show me you mean it. I'll be your heartbeat paradise. If you wanna feel it, just tell me when and where, and baby I'll be there. I'll even pull your hair to make you know I want it. Deep inside. Free your mind, and I'll take you for a ride and make you wanna
What's happening, Vigo's Court? We're back in session. How was waiting for us to come back? Because it was great for me. I hope it was great for you too. I am your judge, Judge Vader, and I am joined by Counselor Shep once again. But you may have noticed a costume change. We have a lovely ghost face here, Ghosty. My lord.
I am back. I decided, in the spirit of Halloween and all things spooky, that I had to represent both of my favorites. I'm not the kind to choose, you know? If I can have it all, I can have it all. So, I decided to bring out Ghosty for you guys too.
Oh man, I definitely understand, and I'm all about it. I wish I had time to also go change into another costume. I did not. So guys, you have me once again, same as I was before. I am your witch doctor right here, right now. I hope you're ready.
So the Witch Doctor is pretty sick.
Thank you. I try. We do have Entity versus 4 Dwights 1 Locker. It's kind of interesting having the Entity make an appearance in a game, huh?
Yeah, very strange that the Entity has decided to just come on out and grace us with their presence.
Yeah, indeed. And so, guys, I'm pretty excited for this match. I do know some of the 4 Dwights 1 Locker players very well, and so I know they're excited for this match as well. Having them face up against Entity here should be a really good match, really fun one. Definitely. Let's review the map that they'll be playing on. It looks like I'm already being invited by Psycho Mantis here, who will be our killer, actually. So,
Nice. I like to see that they are already ready for us.
Indeed, and it looks like I have a friend request as well. I assume, yes, it is from Entity, from Skyrazor himself. So let me go ahead and accept that and get them in here as well, and then we'll review what map we're going to actually today.
And we already had such a good first match from our first 2 teams, so I'm really excited to see what these guys bring to the table and what killers we might see from them today.
Indeed. Definitely, yeah, talk about that first match a little bit more as well, like, because it was kind of interesting what we saw from 6, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Very interesting.
Yeah, they were able to really get those 4 outs and almost took a risky play in that first match, right?
Absolutely. We saw some very, very clean gameplay, some very smooth moves from our survivors. It was interesting to see them kind of debate taking that risk there. I think other teams would have probably played it safe and just immediately gone out, but it was interesting to see them kind of contemplate it. But this is preseason, so this is a time to take those risks. And it was cool to kind of see them be like, we could do it. They were confident enough in themselves to at least consider going back for their teammate.
Indeed. Yeah, and I think it kind of would have been exciting to see them attempt it, even if it didn't work out. Like, kind of like you said, it is preseason, and so if we can get them to attempt it, see how well they can make those kind of plays that maybe you don't make in the regular season if you are worried about your points. Now's the time to try it, right? Try those things that you normally may not try in a game.
Absolutely. Now is the time to be seeing unique and interesting perk builds, maybe that you wouldn't normally bring into the regular season. Make those risky plays. Just try something new. This is the time to do it. Make it really spicy.
Indeed. So let's go ahead and review the map we're going to be on today, guys. So we are going to Azrov's resting place. You guys may know it as Dogbone. I know it as the I-shaped map. It is very good with a 7 hook minimum, 12 hook maximum, but it's got actually a pretty large area, so it is a little bit harder on the killers to try to go ahead and have to move to a hook. Give the survivors a little bit more time to work on those gens while somebody's getting hooked, especially if you run corner.
And this is a very interesting map where the survivors can really make or break themselves. In the beginning of the game, you get some very interesting gen spreads on this map in particular. And if they aren't careful, they could spell disasters for themselves very early on.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And you know, I haven't made the prediction for Killer yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, if Psycho Mantis is listening to me right now, I want Psycho bringing Oni. I know Psycho is a great twins mate, but I kind of want to see Oni. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put my little talking head man away just for a second, because I've got my katana ready. I'm ready to be an Oni. Are you? Are you ready to be an Oni? I'm ready.
I think Oni on this map would be incredibly interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed. I agree. Where is Russian or Vami Mommy? I see Lesbian Love asking me. I will go ahead and swap out my killer. I have no problem doing so. Let's go ahead and appreciate the portraits here. And I'll show Vami Mommy.
It's a very nice portrait.
Where's
Let's
Vami
get
Mommy?
that plague out. Her community cosmetic is beautiful. If you guys haven't seen that in the Rift yet, it is definitely. I'm not someone who plays Plague, but I might pick her up just because I love the skin so much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of those community skins are just really good in general.
And this is her last Rift skin, correct?
Yes, it is indeed. I kind of fell in love with this one. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of she doesn't look like as like eaten away on the face. It's like closer to where she was still whole, and I think she looks just really good, you know?
I do really appreciate as well how very different this skin is from a lot of her other skins. A lot of the problem that you see with Plague before was that a lot of her skins were very similar in their silhouette. So it's really nice to see a new mask shape, an entirely new outfit for her that is completely different from what she had before, while still maintaining that like priestess vibe.
Yeah, definitely. And I think her community skin is, again, like just as it has an even different silhouette, doesn't it?
I do believe her community skin is actually butterfly based.
Ooh, that's really cool to see. So for sure, I'm gonna have to unlock it or possibly save up some of those shards and buy her. I really struggle. I still don't have Mr. Puddles because I spend
tragedy.
you got to get all the way up to like 20,000 shards or 21,000 shards, right? And every time the blood web comes out and I'm like, but I could get more blood points. I kind of want the blood points.
The sweet, sweet siren call of those blood points. But I do think, luckily, because this skin is a community skin, it will be free to gain on the Rift. So you don't have to use your blood points. You can just grind that Rift on out and put some time in to get those skins.
Indeed. And it sounds like we are pretty much ready to go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the spectator role. Let them know they are good to go.
And I know you were kind of hinting at Psycho Mantis earlier, but what other killers would you like to see today?
Oh, I mean,
To chat as well. Who would you guys like to see come out?
Yeah, I definitely want to see. I think that chat may want to see a Vami Mommy here. And I think this is actually a good map to use her on, honestly.
Absolutely.
Where those pools would be, really easy to pressure survivors if they decide to cleanse. So it is a pretty good Plague map if you wanted to bring Plague.
Indeed, I do agree with you there. A very skilled Plague could make real short and dangerous work of this map in particular.
Indeed. So really going to be interesting to see who does get brought. And I don't know if any of you have seen Princess and the Frog, but I'm ready to say it. Are you ready? I'm ready. All right. I've got friends on the other side. That's all I gotta say. Let's go ahead and make sure that they have their offerings set, because as we already know, we are wanting to have basement be in the shack, and we do want the cut coin to eliminate those chests being on the map. So definitely super good. All right.
One.
And we're going to go ahead and review our killer rules real quick. So guys, those killers are scoring via those hooks. And so for those first and second hook, that's going to be 2 points. For the third hook, 3 points. Progressions are worth 1 less point than a hook. So if you get a 7th and 8th progression because you over here being a slug god, you get an extra point for each of those. 4K is worth 2 points. And then if you have the entity go ahead and kill somebody, such as the end game collapse, it is the corresponding hook and the progressions. So for sure, we are gonna want to see lots of them kills. Those bleed outs though are equal to 0 points. So if you are a killer, don't let your survivors bleed out. Make sure you get them bad boys on a hook. All right, so that is 30 points total available for our killers. And guys, we are all set to go, so let's go.
And don't forget, for more rules, you can type !rules in chat there and read up on them for yourself.
And Shep, it looks like we have a nurse here. We
do indeed have another
wow.
nurse out in play tonight.
It really looks like these teams are actually electing to try out their S tier killers and just make sure that they're setting the tone for the rest of the season, going, all right, let's check what should be some of our strongest killers out and see how we fare versus these other teams.
Absolutely, a good test of strength for both sides, honestly. And also they get to hide their hand a little. It looks like she might have found someone over here in her 3-gen corrupt. She has indeed landed her first hit. Blood has been spilled. There goes a firecracker. However, not very much value out of it, but she does get value out of that dead hard as she dead hards away into the machinery here.
Yeah, definitely excellent. And with the dead hard getting a buff, it makes it a little bit easier to hit it as well. We didn't see the hit validation on the dead hard there, but definitely something to look at as League goes on. We do see Rolock getting downed here though, attempting to hide from the nurse, but not working out for him.
We do have our first down here, as well as 2 other injured survivors, so already a lot of pressure out. It looks like she is going to slug there and continue to chase this Nea down.
Yeah, indeed. And so as I was talking about Slug God, it looks like that's what we're seeing here. Oh, going ahead and swinging anyway. I don't know that I would have swung there. Go ahead and just wait. If she gets out of the locker, she gets out, and you go ahead and down her right there, you know?
It would have been good time to get that down there. It seems like our ace has been picked up, but she will take Nea to that first hook. And 1 gen has been completed right next to where that chase was happening, actually. So good timing, honestly, on that Nea. She bought her teammate enough time to get that gen knocked out.
Indeed. Kind of with Rolock getting picked up, you're wondering, did the survivors get off of that gen in order to go pick them up? I don't think it was an unbreakable play, but tough to tell. No, we do see a full reset, so I do think that was actually a survivor picking them up. So for sure, our survivors need a little bit more gen pressure here, and probably to get their friend off the hook here. Otherwise, Nurse can really play into this, especially if we get a down like this on Leo Trill.
A very juicy down there with that other survivor still on hook, and this forces our survivors into a pretty dangerous position where they're all going to end up on one side of the map if they're not careful. I do believe, however, that craft intervention should be down by now, so maybe they can spread themselves out. Ooh, and we get the blind there, I believe, or at least the burn.
Yeah, partial blind there on the survivor, but we do see Leo Trill getting up, so these survivors really are punishing the killers for not picking up the slugs. I expect that we'll probably see Leo Trill actually heal to full here in a second, because I'm assuming they got picked up by another survivor, and we still see our Nurse going ahead and continuing to slug. So we'll see how the survivors continue playing out with that.
That is, however, another generator down. So even with the slugs and having to take time to pick each other up, the survivors are still managing to maintain some of their pressure and get those gens knocked out. We see a reset on the Nancy and the Ace, even with their teammate Slug, so they haven't quite gotten that pickup yet. And we do see, I do believe that is some infectious fright value finding their survivors picking each other up over here.
Indeed. Oh, getting the hit right before the
Ooh.
locker jump. That's excellent. And I do want to note, we did pass several gens and we haven't seen Ruin. So definitely our survivors are fine with the slugs happening because the gens aren't regressing passively. So for our nurse, we may want to see more kicking or more pressure on these gens.
And we see the unhook right in front of the nurse here. So hopefully that was a BT save. Otherwise it's going to get real messy. We still have a survivor downed, however.
Yeah, I think our nurse has actually lost track of them, and we do see the pickup happen right here and a split from the survivors. So nurse is actually has gotten a lot of good downs, but is losing a lot of pressure to the survivors due to the slugging.
The slugging does seem to be dragging the game out, not in her favor. She really still only has 2 hooks for as many downs as she's managed to get in all of this time.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. Definitely want to see nurse probably go ahead and keep the pressure down and score those points. Remember, slugging doesn't gain you points, but hooking does.
And that is another generator down for our survivors. There is somebody over here, however. And if the other survivors are on the other side doing gens, that is going to force one of them to have to come back to this side.
Yeah, looking at the gen spread though, these survivors have done an excellent job of guaranteeing they will not get 3 gens. They could complete the other 2 on the other side and be just fine because nurse unfortunately doesn't have a 3 gen to protect.
It seems like they were very much aware of the dangers of this map. Ooh, and that Dead Heart doesn't quite get Nancy quite enough distance to avoid that second hit. Dead Heart a little too early there for it to really do much for her. So we now have 1 on hook, 1 slugged, and another injured survivor here, and another down. Oh, this could be really bad for a survivor. She gets that infectious fright value. I don't know if that's on the already down survivor or not.
It was on the already down survivor, but we did see a gen pop, but it was a gen on the far side, so we actually know where the other survivor is. I don't know if nurse made that connection, because if she did, I think you would go ahead and hook Claudette first rather than hooking Nancy first. But it all in all, still okay. Looks like we do have a camaraderie play from Skyrazor, so that's why we haven't seen Skyrazor die yet. But it's all going to be for naught if Ace can't get there. I don't know that I would pick up here, but we're going to go ahead and see the pickup. I think you leave slugged at the hook because you don't know exactly what I was worried about. You do see a deli happen here.
There is that deli play. But that just opens up that hook for the nurse to put it right there, and then she can chase that Nancy down, knowing that she is injured and unable to heal.
Indeed, but I expect Ace is on that other gen on the same side where he was on the first one, and it has been about 45 seconds since that other gen was completed, and as you guys know, it only takes 80 seconds to finish a gen, so we're probably down to, in the next 25 to 30 seconds, that gen's gonna pop.
I do believe you are right there. I think Ace is probably just going to focus on getting that gen out. And it might be in the survivor's best interest to sacrifice here their teammate to maybe get the 2 out if they can. But they, with 1 injured, 1 on hook, and only 1 healthy survivor left, it's looking a little hairy here. This could go very poorly if they don't play carefully.
Ooh, and we do see nurse not get the downed. And I expect Ace is on the side that appears to have 2 doors, so Nancy being over here is extending time, allowing for Rylock to go ahead and get out. This will probably be a 1 out situation, and that is what we see here.
Yep, that is what we see here.
Still a good performance from our killer for sure, and good on our survivors for getting 1 out at least.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a lot of pressure put down by the nurse. The slugging lost her a little bit, but at the end of it all, it seems like it worked out for her. She got a 3K on top of them.
Indeed. So 4 Dwights, 1 Locker going ahead and coming out with the early lead on Entity. Definitely love to see it.
Absolutely. Some very good gameplay from our nurse. The survivors is that Nancy managed to miss quite a few hits with that Dead Heart there. just wasn't quite enough to get her out of harm's way in the end.
Indeed, it was a really good match overall. It was exciting to watch. I think that even though we still saw the 3K from Psycho, I think that he probably could have ended that earlier and made it so that was 4K potential if the hooks happened earlier, you know?
Absolutely. The survivors definitely show that they were very well coordinated. They were on top of getting those pickups. They really didn't sacrifice a lot of gen pressure either
I would have to
for
agree.
getting those pickups on their teammate.
Yeah, and our nurse kind of stayed patrolling one side. It'll be interesting to see if Entity has the same kind of game plan, just sticking to one side. Nurse didn't really leave that kind of main building side of Azerov's resting place. Not that they really had to either, because the survivors kept going to that side.
Yeah, the survivors really did keep trying to pressure that one side where she already was, instead of pulling her anywhere else, really. But they also were pretty smart about their generators and didn't really put themselves in a situation where that affected them too heavily.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure. And I do want to go ahead and say, chat, I see a couple follows have come in. We appreciate you. We are close to getting to 1,300 follows. So guys, please tell your friends about Vigo's Court if they do not know already. And let's go ahead and get to that 1,300.
And this is the time to start following. It is the beginning of the preseason. So you have not only the rest of preseason, but an entire season of exciting gameplay to watch and catch. So make sure you guys get those follows in now. It is the perfect time to do so.
I think that I joined the right party. Let me see. Yes, this looks like it's Time Lord Luna. So nice. We just saw them in the previous match here. So we are getting the lobby set, almost ready to go for trial number 2. Guys, go ahead and put your votes in. Let's see who's going to win this, right?
And just to confirm, this killer is for Fort Dwights?
This killer is for Entity, actually, not for Dwights.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Apologies.
And let's go ahead and we're going to transition in here. Go in closer, view these survivors that are here for Fort Dwights. All right. And we are almost set to go. Looks like our survivors are getting those items set right now. Who do you expect to see for Entity to try to bring this back for a Entity lead instead of a Fort Dwights lead of 18-11?
I am probably expecting a higher tier killer. I'm not familiar with who is playing killer, but I would expect they would probably want to bring one of their mains. At the very least, would make the most sense to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe bring one of your mains, or since you know that preseason doesn't actually count, let me like go ahead and say maybe you're not worried about it. You don't change your game plan at all. Whoever you were planning on bringing at the start, you just go ahead and continue bringing. We did have a game crash though. On the survivor end there, and so we're waiting on that survivor to join in. Sorry, you guys were seeing my survivor in that 4th slot, so for sure I was blocking the fact that one of our survivors actually fell out of the game, so I am now blocking the start with my doc here. Of course, my doc, but I know that somebody asked to see a Hunty, so I'll go ahead and show a Hunty.
Let's get that Huntress out there. Speaking of Huntress, I'm kind of expecting to maybe see a Huntress here, or if not a ranged killer, somebody with a lot of mobility to put down. This isn't a particularly large map, but you want to be able to traverse between the two sides to maintain very steady pressure. So I think a high mobility killer would be ideal here.
Yeah, I thought Nurse was a good play, but I kind of want to see. I want to see somebody like a. Well, Deathslinger after the nerf, not so much. But a Huntress, I think, is a good play. Nobody's tried Cenobite. I kind of want to see a Cenobite in comp, you know?
I think a Cenobite would be a very interesting play. You know, I've seen some pretty nasty snipe shots with those chains out there.
Although, I think I need to get a confirmation, but I don't believe there are any, like... I think in the rules we don't have any Cenobite add-on blocks, so I don't know if Cenobite's allowed. Actually, I want to. It's up in the air right now, so we may want to wait for Vigos to go ahead and confirm that. But it sounds like if somebody were to use Cenobite right now, we wouldn't penalize right now. So maybe you do go ahead and get that use out there.
Yeah, considering this is preseason, again, it's the time to experiment with things and have a little bit of fun with it before things
Indeed.
really get serious.
I would have to agree. And Cenobite definitely can be a force within pubs, so I want to see how that translates into comp for sure. It would be exciting for me to see.
Mm-hmm. Although I would still I'm holding out hope for Michael Myers out there. One of these days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we definitely are almost ready to get into this match. I'm excited. Chat, show me your hype. Show me your hype. I want to see it. And we're going to go ahead and confirm. Make sure these offerings are here. I got to see the good offerings. What are your offerings to the entity? Very nice. Very satisfying. Ah, the last one, the most satisfying, gets purple. Ah, we love that. All right, so we're right, the purple. Love the purple. All right, so how do these survivors score points? Well, these survivors score points through gens and escapes. So for the first and second gen, 1 point each. For the third and fourth gen, 2 points. For the fifth gen, a whopping 3 points. But remember, those escapes are more valuable. So first escape being 1 point, second escape 2 points, third escape 4 points, and that fourth escape, a whopping 6 points. Amazing. If you escape with 2 or more, definitely you get even more points. There are 26 points available, but I'm gonna go ahead and take us into game scene because we're already ready to go and we're seeing a spirit come in. That load screen was short for us. Oh my
Ready to see
Lord.
some exciting gameplay here, and let's see what this killer does, even with Spirit's nerfs.
Indeed, and it looks like as far as add-ons go, I'm seeing similar add-ons as to what we would have seen pre-nerf. So for sure, interesting to see how this goes. Oh, finding
And
for the
she's
scratch
already
marks.
found her first survivor. Actually, her first couple of survivors, it seems. She's got that Jonathan injured, and she's now chasing this Michaela. One more injured state put down. See if she commits here.
Yeah, and remember, guys, if you didn't already know, the directional nerf, you can actually hear where Spirit is phasing from. Looks like the Lithe there may have saved that survivor from being hit by that swing.
And we see the fake on the teleport, or on the phase walk here.
And that does net us a down here, so definitely really good mind game still, even with the directional phase and the phase sound being within the terror radius, still able to mind game that survivor and still get that down, kind of proving that Spirit hasn't fallen too far.
And it looks like our first hook is going to be in the middle of the map, which is pretty advantageous for our Spirit. It means she can check either side of the map and not be too far from where her hook is, if she wants to go back and protect that at all.
Indeed, and it looks like we are seeing the effect of Ruin here on this gen. So definitely very nice to see that we're pressuring the map, keeping the gens that have the most progress from getting done. And ooh, we saw a no-no, didn't we? Camping a pallet.
And some very, very nice red stain manipulation from our killer here, punishing that pallet camp and getting that Naya on hook. So that is 2 survivors on hooks, which is going to force at least 1 person off of gens. And
Oh.
I believe that was a repressed alliance play from our injured Jonathan. So even if he goes down here, he has protected his generator.
Indeed, he's protecting it from that ruin because doesn't want it to keep regressing there. Definitely a smart play. Well, but going on hook, unless somebody's rotating to it, it's all for naught.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like that gen just might have to lose some progress. Looks like the spirit has found Ace for the first time here, but doesn't really seem like she's interested in chasing him.
Definitely not, but something important to note. Did you see that Ruin actually got popped? So we talked about how that gen was going to have to lose progress. It does because a pop goes the Weasel, but it wasn't because of Ruin, because that repressed actually was timed perfectly. Probably some high tier communication from for Dwight's One Locker to go, hey, I'm on the totem. Okay, I'm repressing it. Awesome, awesome play.
Yes, very well coordinated on the survivor's part. It seems like Jonathan bought them just enough time to get that Ruin out of the way. However, she is on the hunt again, and she gets the down. That was some beautiful tracking on her end, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. That survivor was doing a good job of trying to trick with the scratch marks, but not happening here. And I gotta say, having 4 hooks and 1 on each survivor already at 5 gens left is pretty powerful for the spirit here. You love to see it. We did see Jonathan get healed over here, so you know 2 survivors are over here off gen, which means 3 survivors completely not on gens. Love to see it if you're the killer.
Yeah, this is immense pressure for the spirit. They have no gens finished and a lot of hook states out already. And the spirit is not batting an eye at them healing at all. She is able to put those injuries back down again.
Indeed, and seeing the swing here, not necessarily getting it, that directional phase giving the fact that she was on the opposite side of the pallet away to the survivor. And it looks like survivor gets the stun here and is running away, and an unhook happening, but 3 injured survivors. And oh my goodness, with that down, I think it looks like Entity now has the lead and is really putting pressure down. 4 Dwights needs to complete more gens right now because there's only 1 gen complete, and this is going to be a 5th hook state. Shep, I don't know if you're feeling it, but I'm feeling a lot of pressure coming off this spirit.
I am absolutely feeling a lot of the pressure kind of transferring to our survivors here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it looks like 2 survivors healthy, but running over here from this. Wow. I think that sword was longer than I thought it was.
That was an ambitious swing there.
Indeed, but getting rewarded for it is the spirit, and getting another down on Psycho Mantis. Oh my lord. And looks like we still had Pop Goes the Weasel, so going ahead and using it before hooking and recharging it. Very smart by our spirit here.
Very good use of her perks here, and she's off once again to go find her survivors. We now have Jonathan on second stage here. Also, that is Shack Pallet down, so that resource is just gone for this side of the map.
Indeed, and if it is important to note, our spirit still has a 3 gen over on this side of the map, so we see that the hooks are happening over here. Spirit's really kind of patrolling this side, putting down the Pop Goes the Weasel, making sure that making sure they are still fine there. We do see a swing and a miss from the spirit, and we are on the opposite side of the map now from where that unhook happened. But if I'm spirit, you may try to rush back, make sure those gens don't fall. But maybe not. You're over here trying to pressure and see, can you get another down before another gen falls? And you can.
I think she does get it, absolutely. I do think it was smart of the Michaela to try to pull the spirit to the side of the map. I don't know if spirit at this point, with the amount of hook states she has and how, honestly, there is only 1 gen done, I don't know if she cares about preserving that 3 gen at this point.
You know, you're actually right. I'm looking at the gen spread, there's a 3 gen on both sides of the map still. So really, like, what I was saying totally isn't accurate. You're not that worried about it, honestly. You're more looking for this injured Jonathan now. Go ahead, take him out of the game. Still camping this pallet. How many survivors have we seen at this pallet try to camp it? Spirit has gone, I'm punishing you for all of it. Man, Spirit trying to take these survivors to school on why not to camp pallets.
Absolutely. This is definitely a lesson in why you don't camp those pallets. She is doing very well at punishing them for thinking that they could wait there for her.
Indeed. And we do see a phase back towards this center gen here. And we do see our ace here jumping the pallet, getting hit. Oh no, I think he's too close. I think this is another down territory. He doesn't take the window. Excellent red light play from our Spirit to get another down. Entity has the lead now and is extending it, because I think this is another death on ace, isn't it?
I do believe you're right. Oh nope, that is only second stage for ace. That is still a lot of pressure on these survivors. They have 3 gens left, 1 teammate dead, 1 on hook on struggle phase. It's looking pretty hairy for them.
Indeed.
It's going to take a massive amount of effort and coordination to pull this back if they can at all.
For sure, because that does mean the other survivors are death hook right now already. Oh man, the red light plays by this Spirit are just so good and consistently mind gaming these survivivors. That is excellent to see from the Spirit. And getting another down through that phase. Oh my lord. What
very
pressure.
good headphones on our Spirit here. She was able to track with that sound and the scratch marks to get that down. And now it looks like she's about to hunt down this last survivor here.
Indeed. Wondering where this last survivor is. Oh, looks like they probably are over here. Probably a good play. Nope, just kidding. No. We do see somebody getting picked up here and unhooked, and that was a BT.
I wonder if that was the Nea unhooking with BT. I don't think that would have been an unbreakable on the Michaela's part.
Yeah, I think that Nea may have just been really fast to get both. I don't know, or it was an unbreakable. It's tough to say.
Good coordination on their part either way. Ooh, and a swing and a miss. Very close on the Spirit's part, but she doesn't quite get it there.
Indeed. Trying, but camping the pallet again. Oh,
Once
man.
again.
Spirit going, all right, you can go ahead and exit my trial by way of sacrifice. And you love to see it on the entity side.
For Michaela. Absolutely. Those survivors get another generator out of the way. However, it is now 2 injured survivors with 2 generators left. So let's see what they can make happen here.
Definitely. And we do see Nea's running to the shack. Shack pallet's already gone, as we already noted. So playing with the red light is the Spirit. Survivor going ahead and being smart and leaving the loop, but our Spirit actually heard it because of those good headphones we mentioned earlier. And where are we going? We are going right here, trying to mind game the Spirit. But did you see the grass move? I did, and so did the Spirit. Being observant of all of your surroundings as killer is extremely important, and we are seeing this killer put on a clinic of paying attention to every little detail in the game. You love to see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely beautiful gameplay from our Spirit here. Definitely using all of her resources to find these survivors. And so now it's just a matter of finding this injured ace.
Indeed. And I if you're ace, I think you're more trying to just hide out and play for Hatch here, because if you try to go pick up this Nea's kind of downed in a dead zone, you risk actually making it so both of you get down because you're injured and don't have a way to heal yourself. So I think you just gotta hide out. Don't touch a gen, just hide.
And I do think the Spirit has a lot of time here until the Nea bleeds out, so she has time to look for this ace. If ace doesn't stealth this out, it could spell disaster for both of them.
Indeed. This is a more advanced game of hide and seek now. Definitely don't want to be found if you're the survivor.
Absolutely.
Oh
Oh, but it
no.
looks like, oh no, we have a missed skill check on
No,
potentially a vault.
the generator was completed. He decided to just score some more points and finish the gen. That gen did award him 2 points, so definitely good for his team. But Entity already having the lead and now going to get the bonus points for the 4K, scoring the 30 available points because this is a 12 hook 4K.
Absolutely. Unless for some reason she can't find this last down survivor. It does look like this is a 4K for our killer. Being rewarded for very clean mind games, punishing misplays on the survivor's part. And
Definitely.
she does find that last survivor.
Is this a basement time for Nia? Oh man, you're going to Spirit's basement. Naughty, naughty. Not back hook for you though. You haven't been that naughty. So, all right. Excellent moves by our Spirit. And this was a very dominant performance by Entity to go ahead and say, yeah. You had the lead in the first round, but don't worry. The lead is ours.
Hold my katana.
Exactly. I talked about the katana, right? And I believe that's actually Oni's katana just broken. It's the same weapon, is it not?
I actually believe that their katanas come from a set. That you can see, that you can actually view it in the shrine, where it was a set of 2 katanas and then the shorter, I forget the word for it off the top of my head, but the shorter knife that goes with the set.
Look at Shep got the lore for me. I love it.
I have so much lore for you.
I was under
yes,
the understanding that it was the same sword, but that's actually really good information.
It's actually the family set of swords that we see the Yamaokas both using here, but some very exciting gameplay either way. No matter whose sword that is, she certainly owned it and punished the survivors for every mistake they made.
Indeed, and you love to see it if you're Entity going ahead and I guess giving your mascot. Can we say that the Entity is Entity's mascot? So going ahead and giving your mascot 4 lovely sacrifices.
I think that is a fair assessment to make. Definitely living up to what their namesake wants and demands out of killers in the trials.
Indeed. And so now looking to repeat and extend their lead further is Entity. And it looks like our killer is asking if they can have 1 minute to go do something real quick, and so we will wait in lobby as they are probably getting more water or something. You know, after a match like that where you get a 12 hook, you know the killer may have been sweating a little bit. You need to make sure you're hydrated and stretched. You know what I mean?
There, absolutely. And for those of you watching in chat, make sure you hydrate and stretch as well. Thank you so much for hanging out here and watching all of our wonderful games today. Make sure you take care of yourselves as well.
You know, that's a really good point. Let me get
Good stretch.
All right, let me go ahead and. All right, I already feel better. Thank you. Okay, guys, take care of yourselves out there. Just like Shep said, it's really well worth it.
It's spooky season. That doesn't mean you can't take care of your bodies.
Exactly. You may be dressing up as a zombie, but you don't want to turn into one. Trust me. Although Nemesis probably would enjoy if you did turn into a zombie. Just kind of notate that. Like,
or do you? Speaking of Nemesis, it would be really interesting to see what our killer brings out for this next round.
You know, I think Nemesis is actually pretty strong on this map just because the zombies can pressure one side of the map while you're on the other. And if you actually...
Absolutely.
It's tough. It's tough. But sometimes zombies have amazing brains. Other times, zombies are walking into trees and you're just going, Frank, what are you doing? Deborah?
What are you doing, buddy?
Deborah, why are you walking into a wall?
It really is all down to RNG. On how your zombies act and respond to the survivors in the trial. But this is a very strong map for Nemesis. If he gets, the good zombies.
That would be tough. Although, I don't know if you've seen, I've been playing against Nemesis and pubs quite a bit. I made an interesting discovery. I don't know,
What was your
maybe
discovery?
chat already knows, but just gonna put this out there. I'm a pebble gamer. And if you throw a pebble, the zombies go to the pebble.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because zombies will also respond to discordance triggers, actually.
They will also respond to red herring. I noticed. If you go ahead and hop in a locker, trigger that red herring, you do end up seeing the zombies go to that gen like, somebody must be there. No, just red herring.
Very interesting. So it goes to show there are a lot of ways to get around those pesky zombies, even if they are the good zombies.
Indeed. So definitely looks like our killer is ready to go. We are just waiting for our survivors here in this case, being ready to go into this match and see if they can retake the lead for 4 Dwights, 1 Locker.
They will definitely need to sweat this one out a little bit if they want to take that lead back from such a strong showing on Spirit. Just goes to show her nerf means absolutely nothing in the right hands.
Indeed. It raised the skill ceiling, but there are really good spirits out there, so it's tough to say whether or not the nerf really affects a lot of these spirit mains that are just cracked with spirit, you know?
Absolutely.
I want to do something real quick though, Shep. I hope you're ready. I'm gonna
potentially?
nominate a high five. So, have you done this before? Are you ready? So, you're looking the right direction. You're going to look towards me on the screen, and we are going to high five. See, our screens are touching. This is going to be perfect. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to do this on 3. Ready? 1,
Okay.
2, 3. High five. Here we go. Nice. High five
Yeah.
passed. High five passed in the court. Wanted to go ahead, give you your first experience at a high five. Guys, this is Shep's second time co-hosting with me here on Vigo's Court. So definitely, we got to make sure we get those high fives nominated. Remember that you guys also can use the channel points to redeem high fives and make us high five again. It's all on you guys. All right.
Now that I've had my first one, I need you guys to bring me more.
Right. Yeah, now we know what we're doing.
I humbly request your channel points for high fives.
For high fives. Specifically for high fives.
For high fives, yeah, for high fives.
You know, it's easy to get addicted to high fives. I kind of love high fives. I'm just gonna notate it, you know. That's why I had to nominate that high five. You guys weren't redeeming any, so I had to make sure, like, I just got one in because I needed it. Needed to feel the touch of another person. So
in this COVID era.
In this COVID era. So sad. We do have another follow as well. So guys, you're getting us closer. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you for coming out, bringing the follows, and helping us get to that 1,300 on the follower count.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We really do appreciate you guys showing up and helping us watch these incredible games from some incredible teams.
Indeed, indeed. And guys, as well, I'm going to go ahead and put the plug for our mods here. If you guys want to become part of the Vigos team, definitely join the Discord if you haven't already. And if you have joined the Discord, fill out the mod application. We want more of you to be able to help us make this the best league it can be. So thank you for being awesome. And please join the team. Just do it.
It looks like we are getting ready to load into our next game here.
Indeed. And so I think we've reviewed the survivor rules, we've reviewed killer rules, but the builds, there are some banned things in builds, you know? So let's go ahead and look here. some of those bans that we could talk about, you can only bring one of each perk and item, so only 2 BTs though, so that is the only duplicate allowed. You can't have all this like 4 built to last or anything, you know. And so banned perks include Haunted Ground, Prove Thyself, and Starstruck. You can't have any of those. They're just too OP. We can't have them, okay? And so then killer uses are limited when we're in the regular season to twice a season, so gotta make sure that you only bring them when you feel you need them. And guys, the match is already starting, so we're gonna go ahead and go. And we are seeing actually a twins here.
Ooh, very, very interesting. Let's see what kind of pressure they can put out. Victor is being sent out to chase down this already injured survivor. Let's see how this lunge goes. Ooh, and Jeff gets through the window before Victor can get the lunge off.
Yeah, indeed. And I do want to note that our Victor is actually chasing a survivor that is a twins main. Psycho Mantis is a twins main, for those that don't know. So he was getting in chase early, but he knows exactly what he needs to do to try to get around twins. He's played it against enough survivors that have tried to counter his play as twins that he feels pretty comfortable running with the Victor.
Yeah, it looks like he got that Victor out pretty well there. And Victor is now down playing patrol for Charlotte while she goes and looks for her survivors.
Oh man, and I don't know if you guys noticed, we had a hex fall, and I can confirm to the chat now that that was indeed Ruin that fell. This is very early in the game to have Ruin falling. So far, where the survivors had been pressured quite a bit by that spirit, the survivors are doing a really good job so far of making sure that they are in good position. We do see Victor going ahead and getting the attachment to that ace though, so we'll see how that plays out.
And now that Ace is taking Victor for a ride, we see Charlotte back in action. It looks like Victor has been crushed though, so Charlotte's got him back. And she is hunting down another survivor.
And you know, that's kind of interesting actually, seeing that the crush was actually taken there. A lot of teams you see go ahead and hold on to Victor, making Charlotte into an M1 killer, but it looks like this crew has decided, no, we should go ahead and crush Victor and try to maybe get the reset. Maybe that's the thought. Maybe the survivor is, nope, survivor's right here. This is danger. 2 injured survivors in the same kind of area. Uh-oh.
I think it goes to show that they feel very confident in their abilities to dodge Victor's attacks.
Indeed, and that probably, oh no, going down here is Josen.
Not quite.
I was gonna say that they probably feel confident because they face a competent twins main on a regular basis. Oh man, and do we get the kick? We don't get the kick, not today.
Quite.
Oh, we ramped off a car. Interesting.
Victor ramps up and over that car, doesn't quite lose the Jeff.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Jeff is kind of playing around. Not. Was that an attempt at a head-on, maybe, to stun Victor?
I'm not entirely sure. Looks like it could be. But Victor does get the attachment there.
Indeed. Didn't stay in the locker long enough to actually get the head on, if that's what they were doing. But
we do see another immediate crushing of Victor there as well.
Yeah, really important to note. That does make you injured, and it won't let you it'll allow Charlotte to go ahead and put Victor out again and maybe pursue for the down. It's kind of dangerous.
Definitely a very risky gamble by our survivors. And it looks like Victor does get this down. So we have 2 survivors down on the ground, and we have found a third.
Yeah, indeed. And Charlotte's on the opposite side of the map.
Yes, she is on the opposite side of the map. So this does give them a little bit of time to maybe try to pick their teammate up. And they do successfully get Jeff off the ground. Michaela taking the hit there, which is good for them as she is healthy and can sacrifice the health state.
Indeed. And oh, we see another stun here. So definitely these survivors trying to extend chase here. One gen is done. We haven't seen a single hook, so that is important to note here. Kind of like we were seeing from Psycho Mantis's nurse, trying to get the slugs and doing a really good job of getting the downs. But these survivors are starting to reset and say, hey, it doesn't really matter. Using the dead hard to get the kick, that's crazy. Good job, survivor.
A very good use of Dead Hard to make up that distance and get Victor down, and very good coordination. Ooh, unfortunately, a pretty risky play there.
Definitely.
Not leaving that gen. They do get the gen finished though, for the sacrifice for the down.
Yeah, indeed. And I think you have to go ahead and hook here. You have 0 hooks and 2 gens gone. I don't know how much longer you can go without hooking a survivor.
Absolutely. It does look like Charlotte is going to take this opportunity to hook the survivor while Victor is out, which is 2 at least survivors out of commission, taking care of other issues such as being on the hook and carrying Victor around.
Indeed, and it looks like we found an injured Michaela here, and so that is definitely very good for our twins here. Possibly getting the hit. No, it's a dead hard.
Ooh, and no, thanks to the dead hard there, that is a denial of the down.
Indeed, and so we will see possibly an unhook here. Oh, it will
And
cost
we
you.
do get the hook trade.
You gotta wonder though, was that a deli hook trade? What do you think, Shep?
You know, I'm thinking with how risky that was with Charlotte right there, it would make sense if this is our deli user. And there goes yet another gen.
Indeed.
The survivors are making quick work of these generators.
They are traveling in pairs as well, which I will note means that Victor's going to get kicked. And they are going to start immediately on picking up that survivor that got downed. And hey, I don't know if you noticed it, Shep, but Joker got off the hook with the deliverance.
That was the deliverance play. And
my-
is that a soul guard I see?
Oh my. That is a really smart thing to bring, especially if you were expecting some slug play. Do you think that 4 Dwights 1 Locker did their homework and knew that a twins might be coming?
They might have done their homework there. Absolutely.
Oh
However,
my
we did see
goodness.
slugging from our nurse in our first game, so maybe it was just a good educated guess on the, not necessarily the killer used, but the gameplay style of the killer.
Indeed, and we do see Joker getting down, but getting picked right back up. Was that an adrenaline play? Possibly.
I do believe that was a possible adrenaline play. We do have our last generator popping there. Looks like our doors are along the same side, however.
Oh, and actually, I don't think that was an adrenaline play because they're broken.
So
But
if it was adrenaline, it was the speed boost, if anything.
right, for sure. We will see the hook likely here.
And this is a good place to put a hook. You can patrol this hook and also watch this door from here.
And watch your other slug. This is really powerful for our killer here. Gonna go ahead and try to confirm 2 kills here. Quite a bit of
Absolutely.
progressions, but try to confirm 2 kills for sure.
And you know, at this point, confirming those kills is rather important. Even with the point loss from progression, she's gonna want to make sure she gets something out of this. Because you can probably make a good guess that those other 2 survivors are at that far door.
Yeah, indeed. And with 4 Dwights 1 Locker going ahead and performing very well on the survivor end of this match, you can bet that the last trial will be what this all comes down to. Oh man.
Risky. That was a no BT save.
Indeed. But we did see Zarina get up as well, and so they are attempting to try to get the 3 out, and they might do it. No, it's still a chance. remember that if Victor's attached, you can't escape.
This could be very dangerous for our survivors. They do get Victor on there.
But we do see 2 killer instincts, which means that our other survivors getting picked up right now by Psycho.
Absolutely. This could be pretty intense for our killer here.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like I was wrong as well. Lampeler definitely coming in clutch. Even if you are broken, if you're downed and adrenaline procs, you can get up from the dying state. Definitely, we are gonna probably see a 1K here because these survivors likely are going to go ahead and take the escape. We have waited out DS at this point, and we're gonna go ahead and hook, and we do see those other survivors go ahead and escape.
3 out, yes. Good call on their part. It would have been just too risky, I think, otherwise, to try and go back for their teammate who was already on Death Hook and was on the other side of the map from the door that they managed to get open.
Indeed, and that means we only have a 10-point lead for Entity right now going into the last trial. So Entity still will need to perform well on Survivor End to make sure that they don't get kind of blindsided. And sorry, I do have to correct myself. It looks like it's 43-50, so it's actually only a 7-point game. So for sure, we would need Entity, if they want to hold their lead, to go ahead and make sure that they score well here.
Definitely some very close games, some very good gameplay from both sides. We're kind of seeing that camping, it doesn't quite pay off the way that you think it might in this competitive setting where these teams are so well coordinated that they are able to get each other up and punish the killers for leaving the survivors on the ground like that.
Indeed. It's really interesting to see, actually, how different teams actually attack camping killers, you know?
Absolutely. It definitely takes a lot of coordination to get your teammates out of a tricky slugging situation like that, but these teams have proven that they can do it. They can coordinate well enough to get each other up and back doing their objectives.
Indeed. And so definitely we are waiting for, I assume Psycho Mantis will be our killer once again. I'm waiting for an invite from whoever is going to kill for them. But this should be really exciting going into this last match. It all comes down to this, chat. So for sure, I don't know what to expect from our killer here. If it is Psycho Mantis, I would expect maybe to see a Twins, as I know that is Psycho's most comfortable killer. But
I think it would be reasonable to meet Twins with Twins as well in this situation.
Yeah, definitely. If you're killing, if you're 4 Dwights 1 Locker, you're trying to get like a 4 slug at 5 gens possibly, right?
Absolutely. You want to get as many points as you can here, and I think the points lost for progression are made up by the points made for getting a 4K.
Definitely. And I made a mistake earlier. It looks like financial security actually is, or financial stability is the killer. I said Psycho Mantis during the first match. It was financial stability. And it looks like that is who our killer will be yet again.
We did see some absolutely beautiful red stain manipulation from financial stability. So, I mean, I'm expecting to see that again in this next game from them.
Yeah, and financial stability, if you guys remember, played the nurse at the beginning. So for sure had great blinks, but didn't necessarily pick up and put on the hook. And that definitely resulted in the survivors having more of a chance to kind of get out here. So definitely should be interesting to see who they bring and what they decide to do differently on on this match, if they decide to still try to go the slugging route, or if they are more aggressive with getting those hooks.
You know, and I think because hook states are so important to killers here, I'm kind of thinking they might play a little bit more aggressively. I could be wrong. But you definitely don't want to starve yourself of those hook states, especially in such a close game. You want to make sure you get all those points that you can. You don't want to lose them to progressions.
Indeed, and definitely you don't want what happened the first game where the survivors end up getting all of these pickups. You know, it was kind of crazy to see that all these survivors were just immediately getting on the resets as soon as somebody was left slugged.
Absolutely. I think it would be fair for our killer to assume that this is a very well coordinated team they are going against, so slugging might not be in their best interest. And they do have the benefit of this being their second game against this team, so they have that knowledge going into this that they need to maybe make the right plays to pull ahead and secure the win for their team.
Indeed. Yeah, and it like we said earlier, it all comes down to this. It's going to be really interesting to see what goes down here.
And Vader, who would you like to see wild shot in the dark? No matter how unlikely, who would you like to see the most played in, even in just in this preseason in general?
Well, preseason in general, Demo. I want to see Demo. Tombstone Myers also would be pretty nice. I mean, those two we don't see a lot in comp, and I think for the Halloween season would just be perfect to see. Other than those two, I think I want to see a Huntress, actually.
Huntress would be a pretty strong pick here, especially on this map.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to spectator here. We are almost ready to go into this match. So, should be interesting. I am excited. I am ready. This will actually be the first time today that we have gone to the fourth trial.
You are right. Our first game of the day, we only played 3 trials, so this is definitely going to be exciting. Both teams have the potential here to pull out a win.
Indeed. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to see some very clean gameplay here.
Indeed. And we're going to go ahead and review the penalty rules. If somebody did bring something that's not allowed in the rules, so let's see. Definitely the games may still be played out or restarted if there is a penalty, but we can't have 2 of the same survivor. We can't have a killer that has already been played once we are in regular season, and you can't bring banned perks or 2 of the same perk if it's not BT. Definitely never harass the ref, because that's going to be a technical foul, negative 10 points per offense, and no restart. Using an exhausted killer, as I talked about before, negative 10 points, no restart. Delaying the game, we definitely don't want any delays. Definitely negative 1 point as well. For more information, type exclamation point rules in the chat to be able to view all of those. And we are just about ready to join into this match. Are you excited? Because I am.
I am incredibly excited. And it looks like we are revisiting Spirit.
Indeed. It does appear to be that way, doesn't it?
And since this is still the preseason, this wouldn't be penalized. But would it be penalized in the normal season?
It would not, because we actually saw Entity bring the Spirit. So 4 Dwights had not brought Entity, or had not brought Spirit, and so we will. It's totally allowed for them to return the same killer right back. You know, they didn't bring Spirit both times. 4 Dwights, 1 Locker actually started out with the Nurse.
My apologies. That was a mistake on my end, but it does look like our spirit has found her first survivor hiding in that corner there. And she very quickly secures that down.
Indeed. Nancy didn't have the flashlight, but whoever had the flashlight was trying to sunburn the side of the face of the spirit. Kind of interesting to see. I don't know what was really going on there.
However, that does tell her that there were 3 survivors over there.
Indeed. Oh no, getting the blind is the Nancy spirit. Tried to avoid it but could not. But once again, we're seeing this kind of slug mentality going on even with the spirit. And I don't know if you noticed, Rylock is back up.
Yep, I did see that pickup. She does manage to get the Nancy down, but she has deprived herself of that first hook a little earlier on in the game.
Indeed. And Rolock went ahead and also got reset, so that is important for Entity as well, taking away all of the pressure that the spirit had to start. And I don't know if you just saw that, but that was a totem going down, and it was indeed ruin. So now the spirit has a lot of pressure on him.
Absolutely. That does look, was that a pop I saw there?
It did indeed appear to be a pop goes the weasel. So that does still bode well for our spirit here, going ahead and having the pop goes the weasel.
Absolutely. And it looks like our survivors got the unhook, but they decided to stay in the area. So let's see if our spirit here can punish them for that.
Indeed, it does look like the injured survivor did clear out though. So this is a healthy survivor running, which is what you want. Hopefully you can get the reset on the injured survivor and go ahead and really put pressure on the spirit once again.
Absolutely. And it seems like our spirit has transferred to yet another survivor, gotten another injured state down.
Indeed, and oh, unfortunate, taking a pallet to the face. We are going to see financial stability have to chase down this Nia, who is extended chase, and run to the corner.
Very smart move on Nea's part. She's buying her teammates time to get that first generator done. However, our spirit does have some pretty good pressure put out. It looks like we have a disconnect actually on the survivor side.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I don't know if that was a game crash or not, but unfortunately that would result in the killer being awarded full points for the kill there, I believe. I will defer to our ref. And it does seem like I do have confirmation that yes, because it did crash, it is still going to be full points to our spirit for that kill.
Which is rather unfortunate for our survivors here, as they have finished another gen, but they now have 3 survivors left to finish 3 generators, 1 on hook.
Indeed, and with that DC, that does actually mean that we are going to see a lead for 4 Dwights 1 Locker at this point. So Entity needs to finish those gens and still get out in order to preserve their win here.
Absolutely. And it looks like chewing through that BT, but not letting it phase her at all, as she gets Nea back down on the ground anyway.
Indeed. And so I believe this is a second hook on Nea, right?
That would be a second hook on Nea there.
Okay,
Nancy and Nea tried to trade who would take the hit there, and it worked out, but I don't think it quite worked out the way they wanted it to.
I would have to agree. Looks like Spirit's going to go ahead and set up and try to make this their 3-gen area, which I think is smart. Go ahead and let the other gens go and try to just make sure that you protect all of these on this side. If you are the survivors, looks like you're going ahead and pressuring out the opposite side gens. You really want to conserve your hook states though, because if Spirit keeps scoring these hooks, it's going to be really tough unless you get those escapes to keep your lead.
That is correct, and it looks like she has found yet another survivor. Nancy coming in for the unhook. And we're going to have another trade here. A repeat of the last time these two traded, where Naya takes the BT hit. Let's see if she can actually make the distance to make it count this time, though. Nope, not quite.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that happened in our survivor's favor this time. So Spirit is going to go ahead and take that and run with it.
And unfortunately, no DS here. So it looks like that is another survivor out of the game, which bodes very well for our Spirit here.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. This is looking very good for Four Dwights at this point. Getting another down on Nancy here, and I believe that's a second hook on Nancy. Yep,
That
is
is
indeed.
a second hook on Nancy, yes. So we've got 2 gens to finish, 1 survivor on hook, and 1 healthy survivor somewhere out there. But let's see if Spirit can find her.
Oh, we have found the ace because of finishing the gen. Going ahead and scoring the points, but I don't know if anybody else is watching points like I am. Four Dwights, One Locker has a 4-point lead. So unless you can get these escapes, maybe even if you can get these escapes, I'm pretty sure, ooh, you are not going to get the escapes. This is a Four
good
Dwights, One Locker
prediction.
win.
A good prediction on the Spirit's end, getting that down at that pallet as he was sliding over. They do secure the 4K for themselves. And even
Yeah.
with the 2 progressions on Ace, I believe that's enough points for them to pull out the win here.
It is. We have a score right now. And I don't think it's fully updated yet, but the score is reading 70 to 56 right now. So that is an excellent score in the favor of Four Dwights, One Locker.
And it is unfortunate that we had a DC there. I don't know how differently the game would have played for Four Dwights there if the entity hadn't had that DC.
Yeah,
But either way, it was a pretty good game.
it definitely would have been a lot tougher on the killer, I think, if 4 survivors were all there, if the DC hadn't happened.
Absolutely.
And so, guys, that was a very, very good match, honestly, to be able to watch. And I think we might get a Psycho Mantis in here for an interview, maybe. I wonder. So, like, that was really interesting. That was a pretty killer-sided trial, wasn't it? Like, it seemed like
Oh,
it was
absolutely.
what, 3K, 4K, and then 3 out, but then another 4K. So very very killer-sided. These teams are showing killer power here, huh?
Absolutely. We had some very strong showing from both teams' killers. Very clean gameplay on both ends. We did see, yeah, definitely a lot of the points were made on the killer end.
Indeed, and definitely our survivors still played well, still getting the resets and everything that you want to see. So definitely don't discount the play of those survivors.
The survivors were definitely, they came out, they showed that they were very well coordinated. They were punishing as hard as they could for all of the slugging that was going on. But the killers were just able to pull it back and put that pressure back on.
Yeah, indeed, and I think I think our killers were really just showing off the fact that, hey, I know that my chases end quickly, so I don't care if you pick up the slugs. I'm coming back.
Absolutely. A lot of confidence from our killers. Kind of like a, I don't care if you get this, I'm going to have my way kind of attitude.
Yeah, indeed. And I know I'm saying indeed a lot. I noticed in the chat during that last match, somebody asked for an indeed counter on me. Oh, Lord. I may have to watch how much I say that word. I guess I've been saying it quite a bit, haven't I?
Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I guess it's one of my favorite words subconsciously. I just don't realize I use it so much. I'm gonna start using agree a little bit more instead.
Agree.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Not indeed. Or I'll just use yes. I don't know.
Yes. Confirmed. Were you surprised by any of the killer picks tonight? I felt like they were pretty safe picks
Yeah.
for both teams.
I think they were safe as well. Oh no. Oh no. Did you see the prediction? There's a prediction
No, I
up
did
right
not.
now whether or not I will say that magic word again before the stream
Oh,
ends.
no.
I am going to try my best not to do it. I won't do it. We'll see. It actually probably
I
is a good
believe
bet
that.
to bet on me saying it. So we do have an interview here, though. Financial Stability is here in the interrogation room with us. Welcome in. How are you?
I gotta say, I'm doing pretty good. Feeling pretty good about the new team roster that we built up, and this is our first win as a team so far.
Nice. Yeah, definitely super exciting. I know as a captain of We Overslept, I've actually seen some of your team members that have left Fort Dwight's come over to my neck of the woods. So yeah, I know you guys have been reworking and definitely good to see. Like, you guys performed very well today.
Yeah, I was pretty happy too. I'm a bit of a newer member as well. I wasn't there before the rebuild, so just think of me as just the new kid on the block. I do have some previous comp experience though as well.
Oh, tell us about that. Where have you come from before?
So I kind of co-founded a old, kind of in the beginning of the comp scene, the team Instant Dodge was one of the teams that I had co-founded, and we'd spent quite a few years together. Lovely people, won quite a few different tournaments. I remember failing twice at Tide Times back in the day when he still did DBD. He had two or three sets of tournaments really, and I failed the first two in the first round. And then I finally found this guy named John Freekill. If shout out to him over there, if he's even there. And we banded together. We did a Stuffed by Daylight $750 tournament by Tide Time, and we won. And that was our first win.
Nice. And so kind of been a fun journey for you into the comp scene and everything. And tell us about joining Fort Dwight after the rework and everything else. Like how's the chemistry over there? How have you guys been?
Honestly, the chemistry is one of the reasons why I decided to join Fort Dwight's One Locker. I had been taking a long break from the comp scene just due to various reasons, life and all that. And what I decided to do is I wanted to go ahead and see about doing some casual competitive. So I went ahead and put myself out into the DBD League. A few different teams contacted me, and Psycho Mantis, shout out. Also, if you ever see him on the Survivor side, don't ever pull out Twins. He's a fucking twin main, and he's a beast at it as well. So from there, I was reached out by Psycho Mantis, and we did a few tryouts. He was very warm, very welcoming, and one of the things that I remember from my last team is chemistry was such an important part, and being able to work together on each other's issues was such an important thing. So this made me lead to the decision of joining Fort Dwight's One Locker.
Dang. Well, that's awesome. And I know they're glad to have you for sure. You played very well on the killer side, carrying your team to the victory there across the finish line. So I am sure they are very happy to have you. And walk us through why you picked two S tier killers in the preseason. Was it like wanting to just show off the strength, or testing waters?
So I'll be a little bit honest here. I had a little bit of ignorance going into this match. Of course, with the two killers that I chose them because I wanted to initially put pressure onto the other team. Entity is a team that I recognize from the DBD League. I recognize them for being fairly decent. They were really damn good survivors. I felt that when I was playing Nurse, especially with my Rust. Nurse for me is like a bicycle. I can come back to her, get a little bit more practice, and do just fine. M1 killers are killers that I straight up don't really play too often. So you'd be like Plague or Oni to an extent. Those killers I don't have as much practice in. With Nurse, I've played her since she came out in the Last Breath chapter. And so it's kind of like that. So in terms of why I chose those two killers, really it was just trying to secure our team an initial win so that we can build upon that and get, the fucking the team morale up.
Oh yeah, and I think you accomplished that very well. So good job, definitely doing that. Shep, you have any questions for financial stability here?
So in your first game, you were doing quite a bit of slugging. How did the survivors' response to that gameplay influence how you went into your next game as killer?
So with Nurse, the thing is, I try to down a survivor and at least get another hit onto another survivor so that they have that injured status and I can go right back and pick up the survivor. That's why I run Infectious Fright. It adds a little bit of game delay, a little bit of pressure, and if you have a nurse coming at you when you're injured, there's very little you can do, and I was pretty good about in that game for the most part with avoiding Dead Hard as well. There's only one instance where Dead Hard, at least to my memory, that was able to get away from me, and I was in my own little mind game there anyway. So, going into the next match, I realized that my last play right there wasn't too good, and Spirit isn't a slug monster herself. She's more of a get a hit in, and similar to Wraith almost, she's very good at chase, of course. She's one of the S tier killers, of course, so my gameplay kind of revolved around trying to get a kill in, and then the DC happened, and honestly, I just kind of let go a little bit there, so that's kind of how that game went for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think the DC, it definitely relieved some pressure for you, right? Like, you're like, oh,
yeah.
now I only have to deal with 3 survivors. Let's go.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'll say match anxiety can get me pretty hard sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why I came back to the competitive scene, because I want to work on building my confidence and work on just relieving that stress, that anxiety that I have going into these, proper competitive matches. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, definitely was very good for you. I was super excited to see it. And do you have anything to say to your teammates on for Dwight's One Locker or to your opponents?
Honestly, first, I want to commend my opponents for giving me a really damn good game and giving me some stuff to learn from. I'm still in the process of rebuilding myself up, and they taught me very well what the current competitive scene is like for somebody who came from like 2019-ish. That was my prime time. It was a very eye-opening match experience for me, and I'm going to take some of those lessons and work towards going somewhere else with those. And for my teammates, honestly, you guys fucking rock. Fucking Psycho Mantis, Beast against Twins, and just the communication that these guys have and the team chemistry that they try to build together is just something very special, which I don't see in a lot of competitive teams. So that's one thing I really value about them.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you guys have really, really done a great job, and I love seeing it. I love seeing the performance you guys had today, and really kind of showing that you could be a really strong force in the league once it starts.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans?
Well, I appreciate you coming out to view me. Hopefully I wasn't too non-entertaining for you, and I hope you enjoyed a nice clean match, except for that DC, of course, and I look forward to playing some more.
Yeah, definitely we enjoyed watching you for sure. Vigo's Court, we have for Dwight's One Locker being convicted of murder today, and Counselor Shep, do you have any final words to say on this verdict?
I think that we had some really good, clean games today, and I think this is a fantastic start to our preseason and bodes very well for what is to come in our season.
I would have to agree. And if you guys noticed, I didn't say the word, but you know what? I don't want you to lose your channel points. So,
Yeah, you
did I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
All right, so never mind.
Somebody get the clip.
Dang it. All right. Everybody, you got to
Unfortunate.
keep your points today, okay? Everybody, you got to
Unfortunate.
keep your points today, okay? Because I said indeed. Where's the command? Maybe we'll see that coming in the future. But I'm going to go ahead and nominate one last high five. Shep, are you ready?
I have to make sure I'm facing the right way. Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. I got there first. But we get that's a good high five pass.
I made it! Woo!
All
A
right.
plus.
So
A plus.
for sure, guys, court is adjourned. We will be back right here at 6 p.m. Eastern time for We Overslept versus Monarchy. And Shep, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be playing in that.
I will be playing in that. I will be playing with We Overslept, so I hope to see you guys there.
Yes.
All right, cool. I'm wishing you some good vibes.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
and excellent games today once again.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, by the way, financial security, I have one question for you.
Yes, and does that relate to security or stability, I wonder?
Oh, did I say security? I meant
Don't worry, my
stability.
teammates do the same damn thing.
My goodness. But I
Don't
have a
you worry
question
about
for
it.
you.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you have a camera perchance?
I do have a camera.
So I'm not going to ask you today, but how would you feel about joining the host team?
The host team.
Yes, being a host for Vigo's Court.
That sounds intriguing. I'd like some more information and perhaps we'll see what we can do together.
All right, you heard it here first, Vigo's Court. We may have another host on the way. So, let's drive some excitement, get some hype in the chat, and yeah. Until next time, everybody, court is adjourned. Peace.